I've seen them lick the caramel, that's how you know it's good, when people are like sucking the caramel out of the bottom. So
totally, I can hear
that.
that.
Is good.
And you've achieved that. You've achieved that. Hey, I think both you and I were very lucky this year, HB, because even though there's a pandemic going on, we both got flan from Hilary for our birthdays.
It's true.
So that's always good. 2020, man, blessing.
It is. I got flan.
Yes. Cheers.
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 Hey, let's check in. What are we drinking today? What do you got there, Hill?
All right. I'm usually a beer drinker. I like beer. Beer is like really nice, and a beer you can drink it at whatever time in the morning, daytime, afternoon, whatever. And I'm a beer kind of person. I don't really have a particular favorite, but beer is my thing. But last night we drank all the beers, so all that was left was a little butt of wine, red wine. And I do have, I had some seltzer, so I invented a little sangria. I kind of put some seltzer in there and the sangria, and then I put some lemon, and I cut up some grapes, and I put a little bit of Coca-Cola in there, and some lime and some sugar, and that's my sangria. So it's a nice little daytime thing. It's not really wine. It's not like so strong. So it's a nice little summery DIY sangria. I don't think that's the correct way, because I think sangria has other stuff too, like rum and like whiskey and stuff. But I was like, it is only 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Let's not get crazy.
It's a Hilgria.
Yeah, it's a Hilgria.
What about you?
That sounds awful. Please don't ever offer me a Hilgria, because I'm going to be like, no.
All right, Jose, what are you drinking?
I am drinking a rum and coke, the classic Sunday afternoon drink, because, hey, it's our 10th episode, so I had to, drink a classic rapscallion drink.
Hey, can I have a sip of that rum and coke? Can I have a sip of that rum?
Yeah, of course, man. Sure, man. Here you go. Hold on. I'm getting there. There we go. Oh, there we go. It's on your forehead. It's on your forehead. It's on your forehead. Oh, there we go. Oh, have that.
Close.
There you go. There you go.
Delicious. And to celebrate our 10th, I'm drinking rum. Straight.
Oh, snap. That's a big boy drink. That's a big boy.
Yarg. My inner pirate's happy.
My internet gets a little crazy sometimes, so.
So we got our crunk out of the way. Where do we start? All right, Hill. At the tender age of what did you start acting? Fill in the blank.
Yes. Please tell us.
Okay, I was probably about 11, my first time on stage. My first time at the Guild, it was when I was about 12. I think it was in 1996. Whoa. I was in Mr. Bill Gonzalez's Christmas show, and we had a very special guest in that Christmas show. Ruben Blades showed up, and he sang a song at the end, and he took the curtain curtsy with us. So everybody was like, "Oh my God, Ruben Blades!"
So you shared the stage with Rubencito.
Do you have that on your CV? Is that on your CV? Whenever you go somewhere, you're like, "I've performed with Ruben Blades." Because you could
have been. You're clapping in the background.
At the tender age of 12, she performed with Ruben Blades on a Christmas show. Wow. I'm pretty sure we sang Feliz Navidad, and that was basically it. So yes, Feliz Navidad, and Ruben was like there, So
was he playing a guitar?
At me, and I will forever remember that. No, he was without a guitar, but he did wink at me. He gave me the little, and I don't know, like if I was 12, so I was like,
inappropriate.
Was that just like kid, you're so cute.
Oh, it's
or was it more like, hey,
Hey, we got a friend. We got a friend here tuning in, Andres Clemente. He says that's his best song ever, and he guessed that you started at the tender age of 3. I was gonna guess in the womb. You're in the womb, acting in the womb. Tap dancing.
Well, I mean, I am a Leo, so Leos are all about, about the spotlight, and everything revolves around us. But I feel like I've helped my ego go down a little bit and not be like, it's all about me. It's not all about me.
You got to share the stage with, and Kelly's also tuned in. She wants to know Henry Blue. Where'd that come from? That's just one of Hilary's several nicknames for me. I have tons of them. Henry Bucephalus.
Oh my God! But isn't it Henry Blue? Is that not your real name, HB? Is that not?
Bell.
Henry Beneficent.
Oh my God! Then why do I call you Henry Blue? I've been calling you Henry Blue for years, then, dude.
It might have stuck.
Hey, you need to get your facts straight.
Oh my God, that's hilarious!
It's hilarious.
Speaking of facts straight,
it's your nom de plume. You know what I'm saying? Nom de plume.
Nom de plume. I like it.
Yes.
Henry Blue. That's what I call myself when I'm singing the blues.
Seriously, you could make like an album full of sad music and just be like Henry Blue sings
that's
the blues.
and I have a new AKA, Henry Blues.
Yeah.
Henry sings the blues.
Henry Blue.
Eloy Benedetti's tuned in. What's up, dude? Thanks for tuning in again.
Right. What up?
Andres is guessing Buford is my middle name. That's true. That's my grandpappy's name.
There you go.
Buford. So you shared the stage with.
We also got. Hold on. We also got. Sorry. Before we delve more into Hilary's beautiful and interesting past, Aquilino's also online. Shout out to Aquilino.
All right.
Shout
Hi, Aquilino.
Aquilino. Chechi's also on the lives. What's up, Chech?
Beautiful.
All right.
We got the friends. We got the standard, the favorites. They're all tuned in. Let me check the other channels. We have so many people on YouTube. And so many people on Facebook
We're transmitting
Live.
now on so many platforms.
Periscope.
So many people.
Periscope.
They're all like, we have to do this.
Hello. Say hello to Periscope people.
What's up, Periscope?
Yeah.
What's up, Periscope?
So after you allowed Rubencito to perform with you, what was next in your career, your star-studded career?
Yeah.
I think I did another Christmas show, and then after that I started working with Catherine Hopkins at the Theater Guild. And so Catherine was a board member, she was a director, she was a producer, she was an actor who basically like took over the guild for a good long time. Like I think she was there probably for about 5 years. And she kept the guild like nonstop with plays, with stage readings, with all kinds of stuff. And she was very influential with me because A, she was a woman, B, she was very, very smart. She was very hardworking. She did her own sets. I mean, she did have help, obviously with the sets and stuff like that. But, she was painting her own sets and casting her own people and just, making a really cool, protective environment for high schoolers to do, things at the guild and stuff. So she was very influential. And I thank her actually all the time. She's still alive. She lives, I think, in Texas. And her daughter actually became an actress. She's actually in NYU drama school right now, I believe, doing her master's or something. And she actually went on to be an actual Broadway play. I mean, actress. So that's pretty cool.
Wow.
So you
cool.
just cited her as one of the people you look up to because of she's a female in the theater industry. What do you have to say out there to all the ladies and the little ladies and the grown ladies and any woman out there who's interested in the theater? What do you have a message for them about how to be more involved?
Write your own shit, dude. Write your own. I'm sorry, am I allowed to curse? But write your own stuff, dude. Write your plays. Find your people. Gather a group of people who support you, and find those group of people who are like as passionate as you are. And the thing is, it's really important to have like a support system in the theater. I think in general, I think it is really important to have that group of people who like you come up with ideas and they're like, yeah, let's do it, instead of being like no, people like, oh no, this can't be done. People who are like, yeah, that sounds complicated, but let's do it. It's so much better to work with people who have like can-do attitudes instead of people who are like, I don't know. It's like you don't want to work with somebody like that. But yeah, I mean, write your own stuff and find your own people. And I think women have a lot to say in theater. I think we have a lot of stories to tell. And, I think writing it and getting it done on stage is an incredible experience. I haven't written anything yet on stage. I can't wait, though. I'm inspired. It'll happen soon at some point.
For sure. You definitely have a lot to say. I think we can all agree that you do.
I think when I go on the social medias, especially Twitter, I see all kinds of stuff from Hilary. When I go to the Twitterverse, all kinds of stuff by Hill.
Yes.
I go on Instagram.
Instagram.
Lots of Hill stuff.
I have opinions. I have things to say.
I love it.
I have things to say.
You gotta say them.
So how have you kept creative during the pandemic times?
Oh, wow. Well, I can tell you that I was not creative for the first couple of months. And I just did my first creative thing, I guess, which was, do this show with Nicole Dillman and MJ Rojas. Because honestly, like, I was just like, I think it's difficult to keep creative in general. And then on top of it, during a pandemic, I think is even more so. Because the first couple of months, like, I was racked with a lot of anxiety, dude. Like, I had a lot of anxiety. And it was really not easy to be creative or want to do anything creative because you're just thinking every day like I mean, Groundhog Day prepared us, guys. Like, we were totally prepared for this shit because we did Groundhog Day and we had to rehearse that over and over and over again. So, hey, you know, it prepared us. You know what I'm saying? It's like you wake up and you're like, just another day of pandemic.
I'm totally
it's just Groundhog Day number.
I'm totally comfortable with everything that's happening right now. But, you know, I pulled up the picture. You mentioned it. You just did something creative. Tell us all about it. We got the picture up here. Tell the people all about it. What was it? How did it start?
How did it
What was
come?
it about?
How did it happen?
All right. So Life Begins After a Good Cup of Coffee is about two sisters. So it was written by Nicole Dillman. And Nicole, I met Nicole like a long time ago, actually in the first play, a play that it was written by Krista Quinn and Kimberly Kyle Holmes. And they wrote a play called Strangely Familiar, which was an amazing musical play that was, it was presented in La Anita Vialas. Anyways, I met Nicole then. I didn't remember this though. And then Linda Johnson reached out to me because I had mentioned that I was interested in auditioning for this thing. And I never did because I'm a very flaky person and I forgot. And at some point I was like, I thought time had passed by. But Linda reached out to me. She was like, hey, you know, are you still interested in auditioning? Do you still have time to do this? And I was like, okay, sure, why not? And so I read for it and she thought it was great. And then I had an audition and they cast me for it. And so, you know, MJ is my sister, Patricia. And we hadn't spoken, like they were sisters and their parents split up because of something. Like, it's never really clear why their parents split up. But they have a very, very difficult past, and they hadn't spoken for like 3 years or something. And so it's a drama with a little bit of comedy, I think. It depends on how you see it. But I thought it was interesting because I don't usually do dramas. Like, it's not easy for me to keep a straight face. Like, I'm usually smiling and I'm very like, ha ha ha. So for me to like get into the motion of like somebody who's hasn't seen her sister in 3 years and who's trying to tell her sister a very strong thing, and they're trying to like see if they pick it up or if they don't pick it up or if they just go their own way, you know what I'm saying? So it was very interesting. We filmed it as a short in the Theater Guild's kitchen. and actually guys, so this is going to be available. It's an on-demand stream, so it's already been pre-done and you know cast or whatever, and it's on demand, so you can go there whenever you want and you can check it out. I think it's $5 to see it. I have no idea, but yeah, it's going to be on there it's in the website verteatro.com, and so you can check it out whenever you want.
Right here.
But beyond this, yes,
Right here.
HB. Finger right there.
Teatro.
So I also want to tell you guys something because I thought this was interesting. So we know that the Theater Guild of Ancon has a presence, right? We all know his name. We all know that he has, you know, shown up a couple of times and people have felt him or seen him. And of course, I'm talking about Ishmael, right?
Oh, yes.
So, yes.
Oh, my God.
So,
I don't know if I can listen to this part. It'll freak me out. Okay, I'm back. I'm
gonna tell you guys, and I'll show you the video too, because you know how, so we were filming Life Begins After a Good Cup of Coffee in the kitchen, and we all know the backstory of Ishmael. Ishmael was the caretaker of the guild for a very long time, and he passed away way before I even showed up. Like, I never met him, but I have met people who have met him, so I do know that he has existed, right? And I knew that he was the caretaker. So anyway, so we're filming Life Begins After a Good Cup of Coffee. Nothing happened during the filming. Everything was chill. There was no problem. And a couple of days later, Pepe, the guy who started Ver Teatro, and he's the one who's filming and editing, he sends us, because I told him, of course, because like I love to tell the story because I think Ishmael's a really great, you know, member of the guild. And so I told him before we actually even filmed there, I'm like, hey, you know, kidding around and stuff. And so he sends us a chat, you know, we're all in there, Linda and Nicole and MJ and a couple of other people who are involved in the project. And he's like, I think Ishmael let himself be known today. He did a little, you know, drive-by something. And I'm like,
drive-by
you know,
spooking?
Yeah, a little something. And we're like, what? And so he sends us the video, the short of what he just saw. And literally you see MJ putting down, you know, like the cups of coffee, they had coffee and they weren't empty. She puts down the coffee on the table and the handle moves, all right? And then she picks it up again after, and then she puts it down and it moves like very, very imperceptibly. So the first time it was very obvious And so we're joking around saying like, oh, Ishmael's our technical assistant. Like he's very detailed about continuity because the cup kept getting turned towards MJ. So I was thinking like, well, maybe it was just friction, you know what I'm saying? But the cup wasn't empty. The cup had coffee in it, you know what I'm saying?
I think
so it's like
the day you guys were filming that, there were a series of slight tremors throughout Panama. So the trembling of the tectonic plates moved the coffee.
Something happened.
Hill, you got lots of fans on Instagram right now. Her Insta stories are hilarious. Hashtag Hill fan right here. That's Linda Johnson tuning in. And smoking coffee.
Love you, Linda.
He sent you some hot fire.
Right.
That's Amit Nathani. He's got the hot fire and the ghost going.
You.
Aquilino said he saw that and it freaked him out.
You.
So I saw the video, and to tell you the truth, totally freaked me out.
I'll send Joe the video. I don't think Joe's seen the video. So yeah.
I haven't seen it. I want to see it.
And you know, it's really cool. I'll send you the video, Joe. It's really cool. I think it's awesome. I always feel like Ishmael's not going to do anything to us as long as we're respectful of the guild. He is the guild's caretaker. He's going to be the guild's caretaker forever. And he just wants you to know that he's there, and he's like, respect the theater, respect her, enjoy her, and if not, he's going to start some shit. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see about it.
He'll find you.
He'll find you.
Yeah, he'll find
but
you.
But he has made a couple of apparitions with people that I actually know. I mean, speaking of one person who I know who actually saw him was Catherine Hopkins. And the cool thing about Catherine is that Catherine is a super pragmatic human being. She's not the kind of person who's like, ooh, spooky stories or anything like that. She's a very, down to the matter kind of person. And she had an experience with Ishmael, and she told me about it. Like she would spend a lot of time at the guild all the time by herself because, she's a very empowered woman, and her husband was a journalist who in that time was spending a lot of time in Afghanistan. Wow. So she spent a lot of time at the guild building the sets, setting everything up and stuff like that. And she says that one time she was at the guild and everything was locked, everything was locked, and she was on stage, painting the stage and stuff like that. And she felt something in the light booth. And so she looked at the light booth, and there was a gentleman there just looking at her. And then she kept painting. And when she looked back, he wasn't there. So everybody who knows when you're working, at the guild, everybody locks the doors, right? Because we have, certain, uninvited crackheads who like to come into our, our building and stuff like that. So everybody always locks, when you're working at the guild, you lock the front door, you lock the back door, and you're always locked in. And, she had everything locked in, and she never saw anything. She went to the light booth to see what was going on, and there was nobody there.
Spooky.
So she had that experience. I know a couple of other people who've had experiences with him as well, but they're never like bad experiences. It's always like something moved, or they heard something, or somebody else heard their name being called. Well, so
Kelly wants to know, what does he look like? Does anybody know?
All right, he's an older black man.
There we go.
He's an older black man. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And Amit says, what if Ishmael has unfinished business and needs your help to transcend? Help him, Hill.
Yeah, he needs your help, Hilary. Why don't you help him?
I think he'll transcend when we're able to make the guild into the theatrical space that she should be, So like right now she's falling apart, and like if I had like my dreams come true, like we would have a benefactor who would help us rebuild the guild and make her into a perfect place. Yeah, with a higher techo, and like also a place in the back so that we can rehearse. And just like, a better place for us all to really create awesome theater pieces, both original and things that have already been written before. I think that's when Ishmael will be like, yes, I can now let her go because she's not going to fall apart, and people are going to take her in the right direction.
He's the one holding the guild together.
Yeah.
I
mean, those beams? You know those beams that are so weak since Aquilino got pulled on them on a rope 9 years ago? Yeah. He's holding them in place, man.
Aquilino, Ishmael's the one that held you up, not the beam.
Not the beam.
That's awesome.
Broke Beamlino. What was his nickname? Broke Beamlino?
Akil Bimo.
Akil Bimo.
Sorry, we just found out that 9 years ago. We found out last week that Aquilino was hoisted onto the beams that are currently falling off with a rope.
No.
And now we know why the guild needs new beams.
Aww.
And so Ishmael is there, holding it together.
Ishmael and the termites, they're holding on for dear life. They're like, you gotta hold it, don't do it. Yes.
So you told us about your project. Life begins after a good cup of coffee. Do you have any other creative endeavors in the books for the rest of the pandemic? Do you have anything else cooking?
Yeah, what's Hilary doing?
Not really. What is Hilary doing? She's trying to survive. She's trying to homeschool and trying for her daughter to finish first grade, which is such a bitch. First grade is like really not easy. And she's just trying to see what the hell she's going to do with her life. Like, as always, I feel like that's always the case. Like, what is Hilary going to do with her life?
But
like,
Hilary, you've been baking. You've been baking a lot during the pandemic, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about a lot, but like people have definitely been like, hey, so can I have this and that? Like, I don't really promote myself all that much. I'm not like a cake pusher or anything like that. But I like it because people call me whenever they have something special that they want done. So like that's even more important to me because like they're like, oh, I have a birthday coming up for my mom, or I have somebody's important moment. Like I want something special, and so they reach out to me for that, and I think that's awesome.
Tell us,
because they are special stuff. You know, I make it with a lot of love and a lot of intention. So
and hold on, if I can just say one quick thing, HB, can you go back to that picture where she was holding that cake with the flowers? I mean, look at the angle that you're holding it in. I mean, that requires a lot of strength in your biceps and forearms.
That is a tiny cake. Hey. It's only like 6 inches, dude.
Only?
Oh, I thought it was massive. I was like, wow. Hey, that's a huge cake,
like,
man.
It's not that big. It's like probably this round. But those are cute. Wow. Those are
what about
perfect.
This one?
They're
Tell
really
us about this
That's
cake.
My favorite cake. That's my favorite right now. Like I've always been a chocolate person, but after trying this cake, like this is like my current favorite. So that is lemon cake, and I use real lemons. So I use lemons from my husband's organic farm, Simply Natural, out there in out there it's by Guadalupe. And so that uses real lemons, and then there's also the real sumo of the lemon. And then the cream is actually cream cheese frosting. And so that was really delicious, that combination of the kind of, lemony type cake with the cream cheese frosting. It was a really great combination.
So you have tart and cool. The tartness and then
it's so delicious.
Cooling
it's so good.
Fat.
Literally, it's like
cool
delicious.
Tart.
And then the lemons that are there were supposed to be candied, and I did try. This was like my first time trying to candy lemon rinds, and they're inedible, but they're so pretty. Like you cannot eat them. I tried eating them, and they tasted like the devil. But look at how pretty they are. Like they're like goddamn gorgeous. You know what I'm saying? So that's definitely my favorite cake. If you're a lemon fan, like you will love it. If you're not a lemon fan, you'll still love it. So what can I say? It's a really good cake.
Just to let you guys out there and Rapscallions land know, we have a pending pie off.
We do, and I'm gonna win it. So I hope you're ready. But
anyone
I'll let
who's
you do
there
the
to
second place
taste
loser, HB.
will be a winner. We are gonna have a key lime off.
True.
Key lime off. I'm gonna be the judge. I will judge this key lime off.
Mine has to have lemon meringue, though. I mean, I'm sorry. It's just I cannot.
I'm meringueless. I go without.
You're meringue.
I'm meringueless. I don't put the meringue on there.
Because you're afraid of the meringue. You've told me. You've told me that you feel intimidated by the meringue.
I'm not intimidated by it. It's like when you bake it here, it always weeps. It weeps that syrup, which isn't a bad thing, but
it does. It's just it's simple syrup. Yeah, so, it's the sugar.
Calino has just volunteered also to participate in this meringue off.
Of course.
I don't know if he also wants to compete against you guys, or if he wants to
just wants to eat it.
All right, tell us about this one.
He just wants to try it. All right, so that is my number one
requested.
No, it's the number one petition. Everybody always wants the maracuja cheesecake. So it's delicious. It's really good. It's probably one of my favorites, I guess. It's definitely one of the things that I've baked so many times that I could probably make this recipe with my eyes closed, because it's everybody asks for it. It's a really great combination. Cheesecake and passion fruit is like probably the best thing ever. So
I've got a question for you, Hill. There's a lot of people out there that we're all locked up for the pandemic, and maybe they're thinking about getting into baking. Do you have any simple recipes or somewhere where people can start? Like, hey, you know what? Just start with this. It's easy. Yeah. You can look it up on the internet.
All right. So my no-fail chocolate cake is actually from All Recipes. It's called One Bowl Chocolate Cake, and that is the easiest. Like literally, you just need one bowl to make it happen. And the recipe asks for 1 cup of boiling water, but you can actually replace that boiling cup of water for 1 cup of espresso or really boiling coffee. And it's so easy to make. It's a delicious chocolate cake. It's very rich, but it's not over the top, and it's really easy to frost, and it maintains its shape really well. So if people are interested in trying out, a cake for the first time, or, I definitely recommend that chocolate cake because it's a very forgiving chocolate cake. You just need to make sure that the hot water or the coffee that you're using is boiling, basically. But it's really easy to do. You just need one bowl to make it done.
I did a little baking experiment yesterday, Hill. I got a bunch of plátanos. When Nito said that if you have a plátano tree, give it to your neighbor. Well, all my neighbors really did listen to him. I got plátanos coming out of my ears. So yesterday, I made plátano brownies, chocolate plátano brownies.
Oh wow!
Oh wow!
And
it came out of the oven nice and beautiful, and then it went.
Yeah.
So I had a nice, delicious, chocolatey pancake. Very good, but it wasn't exactly.
Nice. Plátano pancakes are delicious.
It wasn't exactly
man. I love
a brownie.
plátano pancakes.
I think you should keep trying recipes with that, because that's the whole point of gastronomia, is always trying out new things. I'm saying, mixing things together and trying to see how it works with it, and if it works really well. And plátano is delicious too. Maybe next time you should use the plátano when it's like really, really maduro, when it's already like very sweet and stuff, and you can use it to replace like maybe the eggs, or like maybe something else that might require that kind of consistency.
That's what I did. I didn't have any eggs, so I did a quarter cup of mayo and a quarter cup of yogurt. So I didn't get the levadura that it needed. Wow. So
yeah,
I'll keep. It was good though. It was a delicious snack.
Jeff. You can use, like, when they ask you for eggs, you can use plain yogurt to replace it. You can also use applesauce. You can also use sour cream. Those are some things that you can use to replace eggs. Like if you don't want eggs in your food, or if you don't, if you need something else, like those are things that you can replace.
We've got a lot of activity in the chats. People are loving you talking about your cakes. Aquilino's like, that's maracuya. And just because I've heard that commercial, maracuya equals passion fruit, for those who don't know. Amit says, all of Julio's birthday cakes are from the baking place. See, Aquilino says, I've been making maracuya juice. Carrot cake is awesome.
Yes, the carrot cake is awesome.
All right, so let's keep going down. Memory baking lane. What do we have here?
All right. Yes, that was actually a cake for Diego.
That looks good.
So Diego was one of our Santas for last year's the Christmas mashup, and he did a great job. And Diego was very like, yes, gung ho and stuff like that. And one of the things that I had promised him was a chocolate cake, because when we were gonna go give we had some little little presents of like, hey, thank you for being part of the mashup. His crystal ball that was for his Christmas tree, like, we don't know what the hell happened to it. So I was like, Diego, don't worry about it. I'll make you a cake. And of course, months went by. I completely forgot about Diego's cake. And then Diego started like hounding me, like, where's my chocolate cake? I need a chocolate cake. And then you promised me. And I'm like, yes.
You know what, Hill? I would totally call you out. If you promised me a cake, I would hound the hell out of you, because your cakes are delicious.
Well, actually, time out. Hillary, and I'm putting it out there in the public internet.
Oh, no.
Hillary promised me that we would have tasters for this show. She promised tasters. She was gonna bring some to my house. She said she was gonna use DHL to send some to HB in Santa Clara, and now we don't have them. We don't have them.
The thing is, I had a cheesecake of dulce de leche, and I ended up eating it all, me and my kids and my husband. So I'm sorry. That's
cool. That's cool.
But I will give you guys
we will continue to hound you. But I want to get back to this cake. What is this delicious creamy center? I want to know more about this. I can't stop looking at it.
All right.
Yeah, man.
All right. So
is it cream cheese?
Is literally
is it cream cheese?
It's not cream cheese. This is literally the chocolate cake that I told you guys about, the one bowl chocolate cake. And then inside of it is vanilla buttercream frosting. So this is a naked cake. So as you guys can see, the sides. You can see the actual cake.
Beautiful.
That's called a naked cake. So naked
I like
cake,
naked,
and
I like cake. Dressed. What could be better?
I know. What is not to like about a naked cake, right? So this is great for people who are like not really all that into into frosting and stuff like that. People who maybe want something a little less intense and they're not really big into frosting. And so there's buttercream frosting in the middle. I believe I also had put maybe some chocolate chips or something surprise in the middle. I don't really remember. And then the top, there's a little bit of vanilla buttercream frosting. And then on top, it's got a dripping, a chocolate drip, I guess it's called a chocolate.
Here we go. Here's the top of it.
All right, there it is. Yes. And so what I like about drips is that they're really cute and they look really nice. And it's just basically like if you want to do a drip, it's really easy to do. I recommend the following thing, okay? So you're going to get probably about 4 ounces of semi-sweet chocolate chips, and you're going to put it in a microwave-safe bowl, right? Like you know, like a small little bowl. And you're going to fill it up with either milk, or you can also use heavy cream. Like you're not going to fill it up all the way. You're just going to like maybe drown most of them, and then just stick it in the microwave for about 30 seconds. 30 seconds to about 45 seconds, and then you're going to let it out. Let it stay there for about 5 minutes, and then you're going to get a whisker. You're going to whisk it, okay? And then you're going to let it set there for another maybe 5 minutes, and then you're going to have a consistency of like a drippy chocolate, and it's really good. You can put it on ice cream. You can put it on cakes. You can put it on, you know, on yourself. You know, if you and your wife want to get a little crazy, you know, you can put some chocolate on that person too. Why not? You know what I'm saying? So it's a really cool little drip that you can do on cakes to make everything look so fancy, but it's really easy to make.
I got my own drip.
That's what you guys should do. I
know. so that sounded. Before we go to that place, let's get back to the sensuality of delicious pastries. What is this one? Look at this. This is beautiful.
That's right.
Look at this.
Oh, yeah, man. What is that?
Cute. So I have a friend, a friend named Loli, and Loli's been asking me for cakes for her birthday probably for the past 2 years. So I gave her a cake. I made her a cake a year ago, and this time around for her birthday cake, she wanted something. She just said like I just want it to be pink, and I don't know what else I want. So like I like sometimes when people, they have a general idea of what they want, but they leave it up to me to be creative, you know, because then I get to like play around with stuff. So this cake is interesting because if you look at it from the side, it had an ombre color, so it had like dark pink, and then it had a, see, there you go. It has the pink, and then there's like a little corally color, and there's like white on the top, and then the top looked like a bouquet of flowers, and it was really cute and really petite because it was only about 6 inches. So it was a really pretty cute little cake for her birthday. Delicious. And so that was her birthday cake this year. It was really cute. And on the inside, I believe it was chocolate, and I don't know what else was inside. I have no idea.
Chocolate. I was expecting something like vanilla or something. Wow. All right.
Yeah, because she likes chocolate. But the one that I made for her son was vanilla. So the one that's like right next to that, it was like all full of like little colors and stuff like that.
Oh, the sprinkle cake.
That one was vanilla.
I didn't put that one in there.
The sprinkle cake, yes. The sprinkle cake.
Oh, man. Sprinkles, dog. Hey, Aquilino has a question, Hilary. He says, what if you don't have a microwave? How are you going to make the drippy drip? I mean, a lot of people don't have microwaves.
You go old school. You get your sartén, you know, or your little bowl, you know, and you put that milk and you boil it, and you don't let
No,
baño Maria. You just put it directly in the sink, and you heat up the milk, but you don't boil it, and then you pour it on top of the chips. So if you don't have a microwave, I get it. So people don't like the microwave raise. Like, you know, like my husband's like really anti-microwave. Like if you're gonna heat up his food, you gotta heat it up with the sartén in the oven because he doesn't like to like zap it because apparently it's got like bad stuff and it doesn't heat up your food correctly.
Bad juju.
It, like,
turns you into a zombie.
You
turn into zombies. You're eating brains. All hell breaks loose.
Yeah. And brains don't taste like chocolate as far as I'm aware, so that would really suck.
No, you have to eat them with fava beans and a nice Chianti.
That's right.
All right. You know, we've been talking about baking. Let's go down memory lane. What is this picture? Tell us about this, Hilary.
Yeah. Where's that from? Tell us.
All right. So first of all, before I even get into this picture, we need to give a huge shout out to the person who is the creative eyeball and photographer of so many things at the Guild, Miss Elena Nathani. She is fantastic. She is empathetic. She's got an amazing eye. She can take all manner of pictures, like literally, like I don't know what pictures she does not know how to take because she takes family pictures, she takes corporate pictures, she takes architecture pictures, like literally the woman is so talented and she's so easy behind the camera. Like literally you can be sitting in front of her and she makes you feel very comfortable and very welcome, and she always looks for the best angle of everybody.
Another name that came up quite a bit last week when we had Rob and Giancarlo. She's a consummate supporter of the Guild. Elena, excellent photographer, and like you said, she really brings the best out in you because she puts you at ease, and she has that eye. She's not only an architect but also an amazing photographer.
Yes,
Yeah.
and an amazing mother, an amazing human, and she's a really all around. And she's also likes to bake. She makes an incredible lemon pound cake, and it's delicious. It's
Indeed.
delicious.
Indeed.
So, yes.
We can testify. We can testify.
Testify.
It is fabulous.
Yes. Yes.
Preach.
Testify for Elena. So this picture is one of the promotional pictures for Improv 8. I don't remember what year this was. Was this 2018?
I do not recall.
2017.
17?
I don't remember either. Time just goes all together nowadays. I don't even know what year we're in right now.
Might have been I think it was 2018. I don't know. Amit's out there.
2018.
Can help us out with that. Because that was a lot of fun. That photo shoot was.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Hilarious.
Oh my God. It was so great. So so the theme was 70s for Improv 8 2018. And so we were told to take a bunch of like 70s style clothing and accessories or whatever we had laying around and go to Publicuatro on Calle 50. And we had the studio of Publicuatro for a couple of hours, and we did a couple of changes, and we just got groovy and got some great pictures. This was my dear friend Andrea Marchowski, and thanks to Improv, I made friends with her and with Lisa, and they're like some of my closest friends nowadays, and I love them. Funny human beings, funny people,
sure.
Funny ladies. Very smart ladies, like both of them are teachers, and they're very highly intelligent creatures and like very great human beings too. So I'm really happy
Hearts out to those ladies.
I made friends with
love them.
Yes, Lisa and Andrea.
Hearts.
I love you, ladies.
That was a great improv cast. I remember it fondly.
It was fun.
We had a lot of fun. And one of the things that I most remember about that photo shoot, some white pants I was wearing that actually belonged to Hilary, but they fit me. And I was rocking those white pants like nobody's business.
Do you remember that they were bell bottoms, like some white bell bottoms that I had?
Yeah, that was
You did like those thighs, man. You filled that out, man.
God,
I had some super tight pants on, and the women would not stop looking at my crotch. I felt very invaded.
Yeah.
Victimized, very victimized.
Actually, I loved it. I loved the attention.
Woo! You were Jesus Christ superstar from the 70s. Like you were like so close
Space
to
Jesus.
being,
Space Jesus,
like a person in Woodstock.
Here's a picture of you and Lisa, and tell us a little bit about this picture.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is so funny. So last year's Christmas mashup was a complete success. It was ever so hilarious, and I think what made it work was the fact that there was a lot of freedom to do kind of crazy stuff, and so we started like sending people this skit is basically us singing about like being like wasted for Christmas, and like we're drunk and stuff like that.
Never
the funny
happened
thing about
before.
this picture is that I know
not at all.
Acting.
But look, if you there will be that. I'm pretty sure there was real mimosas on that stage. But if you zoom into like my shirt, like right where my arm is, you can see the radio because I was also the backstage manager. And so this is a faux pas. That's not supposed to be there because that's not part of the look. But that's how I was behind the stage. I was the director, and while I was waiting for like my thing to go on there with Lisa, like I'm also behind stage being like, so where are the elves? Where is this? Who's that? Where's Rob? Who's this? Where are the children? What's going on? And so it was really funny. That was such a great show. Like we had such a great vibe. Everybody who was in it had such a great time. And it reminds me that, theater is magical, and when you have a really good cast and crew and there's no screaming, no yelling, just really good vibes to make it happen, magic happens. Magic happens on stage, and you just have this really happy family, you know what I'm saying? And then you have like the post-show, the show is over, and then you have that depression, right? The post-show depression. You're like, oh, my family, because, whoever's on stage with you becomes family to you, all the running elves and the Santas and all the madness that happens behind stage, So this was a great show. We enjoyed it so much, so much.
What about this one? What's going on here? We got some beautiful ladies in this picture.
That's right.
Some very lovely ladies.
That was this year, wasn't it? That was 2020.
This year. This is the only show that was able to happen at the Guild, before the pandemic happened. So the vagina monologues was a little controversial because from the get-go, I wanted to do the vagina monologues in English and in Spanish. And so we know that there's a little bit of drama at the Guild based on the fact that there was a lot of people who just wanted it to be an English speaking theater. And there was a lot of us who were like, let's just open it up. You know what I'm saying? We are in Panama. We should be doing things in English and Spanish. Why not? You know?
Completely agree.
And so I got a lot of pushback from a lot of people. And I had to be like very like sticking to my guns and being like, you know, like I need this to be in English and in Spanish because it's a show that can be in English and in Spanish, you know? So I had somebody who was going to be my producer. And when I started pushing, because it got approved to be in English and Spanish for you know, just for everybody to be aware of that. But then my producer started getting cold feet, and then she decided she did not want to participate in the show if it was going to be a show that was also in Spanish. So this was obviously like such a huge letdown to me, because I was like, you know, I'm very like, whoever meets me like knows like how like very positive, and like I'm all about like working together, and I really believe in people's goodness and people like doing things correctly. So for me, like I was like hugely depressed, but at the same time, I'm like, this has already gotten approved. Like I need to have this. And this is also happening, by the way, while the Christmas show was happening. So like I had like two things happening, because here I am directing and producing the Christmas show, and at the same time I'm trying to start getting ready for Vagina Monologues at the same time, and it was just like a shit show all over the place. So like I felt very depressed. I was already doing the Christmas mashup with these beautiful ladies. So there is Sandra Sosa, that's Maria Emma, and that is Diana Moreno. So when my other producer was like, I'm not going to do this if it's in Spanish, peace out. You know, everybody knows that you cannot do a show by yourself. It's impossible. It's impossible to do
teamwork.
Any kind of show by yourself. I don't care how talented you are, how much you can multitask, how many little hours you can sleep. You need help. You know what I'm saying? So like, I chat them, and I'm like, girls, this is what just happened. Like, you know, like I really need some help. I really want to do the Vagina Monologues, but I can't do it alone. And you know what? All three of them, like no hesitation, nothing at all. They were just like, all right, let's do it. You know what I'm saying? And it was such a great show. It was such a great show. We had open auditions. And one of the particular interesting things about the Vagina Monologues is that when you're reading the details of what they tell you about the Vagina Monologues during this month, which is, it's an important month, the month of February, because they have this thing called, well, I forgot what it's called right now. But they have like certain parameters, and they say like, hey, whoever shows up to the audition, try to involve them in the show, even if they can't act, you know, like even if they're not, you know, cast for the show, try to involve them, you know? So we put out the, you know, the auditions and stuff like that. And we had about 35 women show up to the auditions in English and in Spanish.
Beautiful.
It was amazing. And guess what?
Wow.
We had overlapping casts. So most of the cast that did both English and Spanish could do it together. So we had some people who didn't speak English, and we had some people who didn't speak Spanish, but everybody was able to do most of the shows that they wanted to do. So we had some people who were on both shows as well. And it was incredibly difficult, but also incredibly rewarding, because the Vagina Monologues is an incredible show.
Tell us about it. Tell us more about what. I mean, you have it in English and Spanish. You had 35 women come out they wanted to express themselves. There's 2 languages involved.
Yes.
Tell us about what is the Vagina Monologues.
And then plus you also have this rule that you have to involve people that audition in February, even if they don't act. So you also had this weighing on your mind.
It wasn't a rule, but it was like, you know, like a kind of like if they had the galls or the balls, or you know, if they were strong.
If they had the ovaries. If they had the ovaries.
They had the ovaries. They had the ovaries to show up to this audition, which is a very difficult subject, because the Vagina Monologue talks about very, very difficult subjects. You know what I'm saying? They talk a lot about. They talk about rape, they talk about clitoridectomies, they talk about really intense things. And, you know, it's not so easy to do these monologues. You know, they might not be a reflection of your own sexuality, they might not be a reflection of yourself, but they deal with very intense, you know, tramas, you know, like things that are very intense. So they just mentioned like, hey, if this person knows about this and this person showed up to this audition, try to involve them, even if they might not be acting. Maybe they can do backstage, maybe they can do lights, maybe they can do whatever. And that's what happened. You know, we were able to cast so many people. Everybody got accepted. Whoever walked into the door was part of the Vagina Monologues. Anybody who just immediately walked, I was like, this is it. Like I'd have them audition anyways. But like, you know, I gave them the heads up right away. I was like, this is gonna happen and this is gonna be it. Are you okay? Are you comfortable with this? And you know, we were very we were also very like open to having them read the monologues, and if they weren't comfortable with the monologue that we gave them, they could change it or they could do other things. It was an amazing experience because we were like probably about 35 women, and then we had a couple of men, you know, we had Rafa helping us as the stage manager in the booth, and we also had David helping us, and David is such a joy, and he's such a human, he's a great human being, you know. So it was a really great experience. It was very lovely. It was very empowering as well. And I think it's an experience that I'm never going to forget about. Like we still have a chat with the women from the Vagina Monologues. The most important part of the Vagina Monologues, though, which is I'm completely like going over it right now. But the important thing about doing the Vagina Monologues was that everything that we made from the sale of tickets was going to go towards Fundación Calicanto. So right. Fundación Calicanto has a very important program that they were helping women to develop the skills they need to be heads of household or to make their own businesses or to get out of really difficult situations. You know, very difficult things like, you know, their husbands are beating them or they're in very insecure moments or they're the head of their household, and they empower them. They teach them how to think in a business manner. They teach them a lot of important things. They teach them how to dress correctly, like if they're going to go to an interview. And they also give them other stuff to like help them, you know, like if they need their carnet verde or amarillo, you know, to actually manipulate food and stuff like that. They give them the help, and they also try to put them in places where they can get, you know, jobs or employment, you know, and they can help their family. So we were able to donate, I think, about $2,700.
Wow.
Oh, wait, that's pretty good, man.
Excellent.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
And you know what? The best part of it, and the whole reason why I wanted it to be in Spanish, was because I wanted the people, the women from this foundation, to be able to see the play. And if it was in English, they weren't going to be able to understand it, or, you know, they might go, but they weren't going to understand it. So that's why I was like so vehement, so intense, so necia. I was very necia about having it in Spanish. Tenacity. Because I was like, these women need to see this, you know, like they need to see it because they're going to see maybe an experience on stage that is similar to theirs, and they can rise up above it. And guess what? They did. We had 27 women have a private showing, one of our rehearsals, our last rehearsals, and they were so empowered, and we were able to hang with them, you know, after the show, and they were so empowered by us, and we were so empowered by them, because another good thing about the Vagina Monologues was that we were having an open mic after the shows, and because these themes of the Vagina Monologue are very intense, and like, you know, they might uncover something within you. We had an open mic after every show, and these women got up on stage and shared their anecdotes with us. So it wasn't amazing, a lot. Man. We didn't know like any of them were going to actually go on stage, because we're like, we don't know, you know, these are women from Santa Ana, from San Felipe, from San Miguelito. These are like really intense, you know, areas, you know what I'm saying? So we didn't know if they were going to feel comfortable enough to go on stage and share their experiences with us, but they did. We had a couple of women who had already graduated from Las Claras go on stage and talk to us about their experience, and other women as well, you know? And so I hope that inspires them to write their own stories, or to like, you know, pull themselves out of wherever they're at right now, you know, because we're all fighting our own struggle. But when you see yourself on stage, or when you see something that you can relate to on stage, it makes you so much more powerful. You know, like you're like, yes, sure. I can do this. Like, I can do this. Like, you're a woman and you directed this. Like, I'm a woman. I can direct something too. Like, I'm a woman and I can write this too. You know what I'm saying? So I thought it was really interesting. We had some even share their poetry with us. And the open mics for the Vagina Monologue were incredible. Like, I cried a couple of times. It was intense, man. It was just intense. A lot of feelings, man. A lot of feelings, you know?
Tell us a little bit about,
very
like,
cool, man. It's very uplifting.
Like, that's an international thing, right? Where does this script and this idea come from?
So if you, okay, hold on, I gotta find it because I just completely forgot about it. But you get to do the Vagina Monologues free of charge within the month of February if you apply for it. Back in, I think it's in November, they opened the plazas. But the caveat, or you know, is that whatever you make for those showings has to go to some kind of nonprofit foundation that directly helps women or young girls, right?
Amazing.
So I started getting that in my head back in like probably September, and then I applied in November for the rights, and I got it, and And of course, again, the caveat, which is, whatever you make, you have to donate a certain amount, like 99% of it. It has to be like 99%. So it started spinning in my head. And the funny part was, when I decided to do this, I was basically thinking about the guild, like we need to fill something up in February, you know what I'm saying? Like trying to fill the guild with something, and this is free, and we just need to donate whatever. And it ended up being such a strong project and such a really great project that I'm really proud of. And it was just because, so you don't pay for the rights during that month, but you can only do like maybe up to 3 shows, and those 3 shows, all of the profits have to go towards an organization that helps women. So hold on a second.
Hilary,
I'm going to show you
while you're
that
looking
means.
that up, not only did you do something, international that supports women, and not only did you donate the funds to Calicanto, but you also were the only play in 2020 for the Guild and helped us maintain our continuously running status. Because of the pandemic.
Yay, 70 years.
Because of the pandemic.
70 years.
The Guild is celebrating their 70 years.
Hey.
While you're looking that up.
And let me tell you something. What a wonderful show to put on before everything shut down. Because it was so uplifting and it had such a positive sort of vibe to it.
We're
guys, quick update.
Yes.
Sorry, we got 3 minutes to complete our hour on Instagram.
Awesome.
So once we fade out, we're gonna move on over to the after party.
Ooh.
Hey,
all you people on Instagram.
Hillary.
Nice.
All you guys on Instagram. We only get 1 hour on Instagram, but we're still broadcasting live on Facebook. I'm gonna type the link in the comments. Please join us for the after party. It gets cray over there. You never know what's gonna happen.
All right. Real quick, it's called V-Day. I completely forgot, but it's called V-Day, and V-Day is a series of events that have been that sprouted from the Vagina Monologues from Eve Ensler, the author. And so all V-Day events, like if you decide to cover any of her screenplays during the month of February, well, you got to donate a certain amount. It's free of charge, but it's there to create conciencia and to bring up important, things about women and stuff like that. So she's got a variety of things. She's got the Vagina Monologue. She also has a couple of other things that you can also do within that month of February to raise awareness for women and women's issues and stuff like that. So V-Day, that's what it is.
V-Day.
All right, thank you. That's it.
All right, as we're running out down the clock on Instagram, I read something. It was a study in the United States said that 60% of women are afraid to say the word vagina in front of their gynecologist. So.
Imagine.
Yeah, so this type of education is very important to be able to say it in the open and have people be comfortable with their own body parts.
Oh my God.
Seriously.
And it was so important. It was so good for all women. Like there was multiple songs that had to do with vagina, like there was vagina all over the place. And the thing is, like, not to be funny or anything like that, but if you are not comfortable with your own body, if you're not comfortable with your own sexuality, how are you going to be comfortable with your partner? You know what I'm saying? Like, you need to be comfortable with your own body. You need to be comfortable with your sexuality in order to be comfortable with whoever your partner is. You know what I'm saying? Be it a man or woman, be it whoever it is, like you need to be comfortable with who you are and what we're capable as women. You know what I'm saying? So I think it was really good. And I would tell like a couple of times in the chat, I'm like, hey, this weekend, spend some time alone, turn some candles on.
We're off on Instagram. Yeah. We're off on Instagram. Hold that thought. Because I know where you're going, and this is the environment that we want the after party to be. I need to make a drink. Do you guys need to make a drink?
Yes, I need to eat a sandwich.
Okay, we're still live on Facebook, YouTube,
5 seconds.
and Periscope. I'm gonna make a drink. You guys, I don't want to miss what you're about to say because I think you were going somewhere important.
Yes. It was.
Yes, she was.
While I'm making my drink, can you tell us about your delicious sandwich?
Yes.
Yeah.
So. I have a sandwich.
What's it of? What's it made of? What's in it?
It's made out of pan viril. Pan viril. What does pan viril make you think of? A very viral, something or other. So pan viril is usually like long, and it's like made in Panama. And then inside there's Gouda cheese and there's pepperonis because today we're supposed to be making homemade pizzas at some point because that's like my go-to Sunday.
Are you gonna make pizzas after this? After we're done with this live?
Yeah, probably. Making, I have the cheese and I got the pepperoni and I just need to make the crust, and the crust is easy to make, dude. It's easy to make. Anybody can make crust. If you've got yeast, you can make crust.
Where'd you get that pan viril from?
La China.
Oh, snap.
Del
All right.
chilito. Hey, voy
All
para el
right.
baño rapidito, okay? I'll be
Go,
back.
go, go. I'll be here, man. I'm holding down the fort, man.
Hold
Don't
it.
disconnect.
Sí,
I'm here. Where'd you go?
señora.
All right, guys. So now it's just me and you. Hillary went to the bathroom. HB's back.
Oh, did we have a bathroom
HB,
break?
Hillary left. She went to the bathroom. She was like, "Forget you guys." So she's gone.
That's cool. That's cool. I didn't mean
So
to
now
leave
it's
you
just us.
hanging. So were you able to give us a beautiful
All right.
10-minute soliloquy about life and about vaginas in general?
I mean, I was talking about Hillary's pang viril, which she got from the China, and then you came back because she went to
Well,
the
just to
bathroom.
update you,
So that was basically all that happened.
I'm gonna. We're talking about a lot of my favorite things. Our 10th show. We're talking about vagina.
That's
Love
right.
it. I'm
No
with
doubt,
my favorite
no doubt.
people, Jose Mesquita and Hilary Hughes Winstead. I'm gonna have a shot of rum. Rum is
That's
my
right.
favorite, and my shot glass is Mr. Orange. Look at that,
Oh, snap, Mr.
Mr.
Orange, dog.
Orange.
All right,
And I'm
back.
drinking a Guinness. I got a Guinness,
Ooh, strong.
and
Oh man, you know what we need to do
got
next
my
time
Guinness
we see each
shirt
other? We
on.
need to make some Irish car bombs.
Oh
got
my
my Guinness
God.
shirt on. You know, I won this.
Dude,
I won this shirt
so-
chugging a Guinness in the Guinness toast. It's an
Oh,
international toast
right.
that happens in the
Check.
United States, and I was the fastest person in the whole pub to chug a Guinness,
Oh wow.
and that's where I got this shirt.
Reasons to be proud. Reasons
That's
to be
talent.
Okay,
proud.
okay. So
Talent.
rewind.
Rewind.
You know,
Yes.
you're lighting candles. You're lighting candles? What's going on? You're lighting
Okay,
candles?
so
Yeah,
I would give people because you know like vagina monologues during that V-Day event, it's all about bringing up awareness of women and like all the struggles we go through, our sexuality, what we're into, what we're not into, you know, all these type of stuff. So I would give the ladies of the vagina monologues, I'd give them homework, you know, like, and I'd send them like interesting articles, like, you know, Africa still does clitoridectomy to 30% of young girls, you know, between the ages of 5 and 11, and all this other information that's like intense.
Can you tell our viewers
but
out
also,
there
like,
might
sexuality.
not be aware of what a clitoridectomy is? What is going on?
Yeah, if you
Okay,
could elaborate,
so-
that'd be great.
So women's sexuality has always been a problem in the world, right? And an empowered woman is like, you know, a scary woman,
They
I guess,
burn
or a woman
witches,
who's very
right?
sure of herself, of her sexuality. So a lot of Muslim countries perform clitoridectomies, or a complete, you know, like they literally snip it off, and kind of like I wouldn't say like
Female
like,
castration,
literally
I
they
think, is
just-
another
they just
word
snip
for
it
it.
off. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
it's not
Huh?
castration, because castration is for men, but it's a clitoridectomy.
No, like-
So they literally cut off the clitoris, okay, and sometimes the labia as well, minora and majora. And the reason for this is that because women are not supposed to feel, they think that by doing this they'll feel less desire, and they'll be less, like, you know, I guess slutty or something, or they'll be pure for their husband. And obviously this is a very barbaric thing, and it's been happening for thousands of years, and there's a lot of awareness to bring it down or to eradicate it, because it's really damaging. The way they do it is like with rusty scissors, or like a sharp rock, or, you know, whatever they have around, and the young girl is usually not informed of this, and it's forcibly done to her. So, and she can be all the way from the ages of like 3 all the way to 11. And the after effects are like, you know, people can go sterile, they can get infections, they can die from it. And so there's a lot of awareness to like make it not happen anymore, because it's a horrible, it's a horrible
Absolutely
thing.
barbaric.
You know, it's a horrible.
It's completely,
barbaric.
it's
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 awful.
inhuman.
Yeah.
Yes, it's inhuman. It's inhuman, and you know, some people are like, oh, but it's like a circumcision. No, it's not. It's not like a circumcision at all. It's not like a circumcision at all. So, you know, it's barbaric, as you say. So every week, I'd give the ladies some homework. You know, I'd give them articles and stuff like that, so they could, you know, really feel what they're doing and stuff like that. And so one of the homeworks one time was, you know, let's talk about our sexuality, but, you know, like, let's get in touch with ourselves. So I told them, like, you know, this weekend, you know, there's no rehearsals this weekend, but try to, you know, spend some time alone with yourself, you know, turn on the candles, put on some soft music, you know, and toqueteate, you know, touch yourself. You know, a lot of women have never experienced orgasm. A lot of women have never experienced orgasm by their partner or by their own selves. And I think it's important to be able to see what you like yourself, so you can actually help your partner help you out, because nobody is a mind reader, you know. No one's going to go thinking like, oh, I know what this person likes. What one person likes, another person might not like, you know what I'm saying? And how are you going to know what you like if you don't know? You know, you don't touch yourself, you don't play around with yourself, you don't know how to guide somebody, and then you're expecting somebody to give you pleasure, but why don't you give yourself pleasure first, you know? And so I think that's like, you know, very shocking thing, because, you know, I think men are a lot more open about the fact that they masturbate, but women are not, you know what I'm saying? I'm just like, dude.
Women don't masturbate?
It's pleasure, you know? A lot of women don't. I think a lot of women
ladies
don't
out there, you're missing out.
Yes.
You need to double click that mouse, girl. Just be comfortable.
Gotta
do that thing. Get a mirror out, inspect yourself,
like Hilary said,
check
man,
under the deck.
Light some candles, man. Get some vino.
The thing. Like, you know, and it's a little bit scary, I think, for women to see themselves and, you know, to let go of that. And that's why I was like, you know, get in touch with yourself.
Literally.
Try it out. Check it out. See what, you know, literally get in touch with yourself. See what you like, what you don't like. What are the feelings that you like? There's nothing wrong with that. And I think that's, I think we were able to do that. I'm not really sure. I didn't really go up to them and be like, hey, so did you masturbate? Did you fiddle yourself?
You have the encuesta
afterwards? But I do
afterwards?
feel like it was...
Yeah, you should have had a survey.
we need to normalize the fact that it's good for a woman to feel, you know, good with herself. It's good, and it's okay to do masturbation. It's okay to masturbate. Because I remember when I started masturbating, like, I was in a Catholic school, and I was also like, you know, there was like the whole like, you're going to hell. The Bible says that if you diddle yourself, you're going to hell.
Guilt.
So there was a lot of like
anxiety. There shouldn't be guilt
like,
associated with your own body. You know?
No. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So it was like, for me, so now that when I was doing the vagina monologues, you know, like, I'm very pro masturbation. I'm very pro feeling good with yourself. So I'd be like, you know, do it. You know, don't feel weird about it. Have some time alone. And, you know, it's also good to be alone with yourself. It's also good to put some music and feel good about your body, what your body is capable of doing.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
And, you know,
diddle yourself.
We're talking a lot about emotion, but let's get a little scientific. It's good for you. It's good for your body. It's good for your immune system. Yes. It's good to relieve stress.
Your immune system.
It's good all around. It's good. Yeah, and you know, I know for men, you know, I think about my prostate health. I got to get that stuff out of there, you know. Yes. Now for women, you got to get all those juices flowing, man. That's what it's there for a reason.
And it makes you feel good. You know, it makes you feel good, and there should be no shame in that. You know what I'm saying?
So like, I feel like the vagina monologue. Joe, when did you start touching your vagina?
I started touching my vagina maybe around my quinceaños.
Yes.
What? All the way to 15? Damn.
No, I don't know. I don't really know. I don't know, man. I don't really know when I started touching it. I didn't like write it down in my journal. Like, oh.
What? You don't remember?
No.
Oh, wow.
I mean, do you know how many times it's happened since?
This guy, he ran out of candles, man. You know? He's like, screw the candles. No more candles. I'm getting comfy.
Hey, man.
He was buying like boxes of candles, and he's like, God, this guy.
He's like, what am I going to do with all this wax? Oh, my goodness. So, okay, you know, we can always come back to this, pun intended. I'd like to move on a little bit, but just to recapitulate, you know, Rapscallions is always talking about mental health. If you're depressed, if you're sad, reach out to someone. Mental health is very important. And now we're talking about masturbation, feeling good and knowing yourself. You shouldn't.
There you go.
If you feel guilt about something about yourself, talk to someone. Find out if it's normal. Maybe say, hey, you know, I felt guilty about this. Oh yeah, me too. It's normal. Don't worry about it. And then you'll feel so much better. So.
Yeah, and I think it's that thing, like Hilary was saying, particularly here, a lot of people go to Catholic schools, or their religion is so mixed up to everything that you do. That it's one of these things that they're like, yeah, you're gonna go to hell, man. Like, you're screwed. That's it.
Yeah, and you know what? And on top of it, I'm pretty sure if we met Jesus nowadays, he'd be like, yeah, man, he'd be totally pro masturbation. You know what I'm saying? Jesus would probably be like the #1 person being like, yeah, you know, it's good to masturbate. It's not bad. You're not going to jail. You're not going to hell. Like, you know, we don't even know if hell even exists. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not hurting anybody. Literally, masturbation does not hurt anybody, and it's just pro. There's just a bunch of pros, a bunch of positive things to masturbation. So, you know, diddle yourself, basically. Tocateate, you know?
Man, this is the first play that I've ever heard about where the director was like, hey, I want you guys to go and masturbate. Could you imagine, HB, if in Groundhog Day, RGB would have been like, All right, I want all you guys to go.
Can you imagine how many times Phil masturbated when he was in that repeat cycle?
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was like, I think the estimate is that it was 90 years, so that's a lot of days.
Yeah. Wow.
So I'm sure there was a lot of diddling going on.
I mean, I didn't tell the girls to go masturbate, but I did tell them in a very
you encouraged. You encouraged exploration.
It's good, man. It's positive. You know what I'm saying? I did get a mirror and check yourself out. Like, a lot of people don't know what their, private parts look like. Women are very internal, like men are very external. Like, it's very in your face. Like, you see what's going on. But for women, a lot of the magic is like, behind the curtains. You know what I'm saying? And so you need to know what you look like. You need to feel comfortable and know that, all the vaginas are different. There is not a single prototype. What you see in porn is not the prototype vagina. Like, they don't all look like that. Some ladies have more, they have more curtains. Some ladies have less. Some ladies have more bush. Some ladies have less. You know what I'm saying? And like, that's okay, because it's the human body and we're all so different. And there is not a single prototype for everything. We're all very different, and it's okay. You need to accept yourself.
You should accept yourself, and the things that you do with yourself shouldn't give you shame, and other people shouldn't shame you about your body either. So
not at all.
That hurt.
Exactly.
We need to get rid of the hurt, and we need to increase the joy. So we can come back to this because it is one of my favorite subjects, but there's so much more to talk about. We've got some more pictures. What do we? Wait, let me. I'm pressing the wrong buttons here.
Oh, no,
okay, we
it's
talked.
the rum.
Okay, here we go. What's happening here?
Oh, snap.
There's something going on, that's for sure. That is definitely something happening. I don't know, like maybe somebody's giving birth or something. I feel like HB's trying to pull out a baby out of somebody's vagina.
Poor Billy.
Like, he's the doctor maybe, and like, I don't know. I don't really know what the hell's going on in that picture. It's improv, so it could just be absolutely anything.
Thousands of people out there. I want to see, look, Hilary. Case number 1, Hilary. On the right side. In the middle, that's Joe right there. And me, I'm doing the tug, and look at us, the three of us sharing the stage, much like we're doing right now. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
What do we love about improv? Like, what is it about comedy? Like, what are some of the top 5 things that make somebody funny? Like, I have some ideas of what makes people funny.
Give us one of them.
Like, I think being clever is important. Like, being clever about coming up with funny things and like not trying to be funny, obviously, which is one of the improv tenets, which is like, don't force it. But I think one thing that helps people be funny is kind of being open to being really silly on stage. Like, I remember one skit that I did with Joe back with Danielle Miles when she was the director. Do you remember this one, Joe, that you had to be a gorilla and I had
of course, I never forget it.
Oh my God.
We were both blindfolded.
Oh my God. It was the funniest. Like, I was like literally like in hysterical giggles the entire time on stage. And you're not supposed to laugh, but I was so nervous and it was so funny because I don't even remember what the hell, like, you had to be a gorilla or you were Tarzan and we had to like fling ourselves across the stage completely blindfolded.
I was a gorilla. And I kept on yelling, groom me, Hilary, groom me. And you were trying to find me so you could come groom me, but you were going everywhere.
Oh my God. I just think about it and I want to cry. It was so funny. And it was funny to us. Can you imagine how funny it was to the audience? Like, they're seeing these two people completely blindfolded, like flailing on stage because we're blindfolded. Like, they had no idea what the hell was going on. Like, it was just one of the, but like, there's been so many like on stage, like I am like literally trying to like hold my shit together and not laugh. And you're like this.
Yeah.
Like, it's not funny, but it's hilarious. Like, if you can make your improv laugh, like, that's how you know it's really funny, because the person who's like trying to like not to break character, but it's impossible sometimes. I love comedy. Comedy's laughing.
I agree. And I think one of those things about improv that's so special is just that you basically have to put away all of your inhibitions, because you have to be on stage and you have to be ready to make yourself vulnerable. Because a lot of the times, I mean, thankfully, most of the times when we do stuff, it works. You know? But say it doesn't work, then you really got to be very strong to be like, okay, that didn't land, but it's not going to define
And
the
if you have
show
a lot
as a whole.
Like, sometimes the improv audience will tell you like, "Boo, die."
You got to take it in stride. It's
It's
better to take that chance than of not taking that chance. You got to. That vulnerability is true,
right.
and you know, I've really tried to dissect the matter, even though you shouldn't dissect comedy. But I think, much like what we're doing now, the thing that really works with improv is when people see the moment of creation. Because sometimes when you watch improv pre-recorded, you hear uproarious laughter, but you really don't get it. But if you're there live, somehow being live and knowing that this has just been created in that particular moment, and that's the spark of creation that everybody loves. That's what I think the magic of improv is.
Yeah.
That is the magic of improv. But what about comedy? Like, what makes some things funny? Like, why are some people funny and some people are just not? Like, what is that? What is it? Like, there has to be like some kind of, you know, recipe, but there isn't, because I think comedy is so different. Like, there's so many different kinds of comedy. You know, there's some people who are like, you know, into like the slapstick, and other people who are really into like verbal comedy. It's all about, you know, what you say and how you say it, or, you know, how quick you are to respond.
Yeah, I mean,
but
I mean, I think we could really overgeneralize and boil it down to 3 columns: improv, stand-up, and staged comedy, or scripted comedy. So, you know, I interviewed Simon one time, because we've done improv and we've done scripted, and he does stand up, and I did the same with Amit. You know, they've done all 3, and they're 3 different animals altogether, even though they're all about comedy. I don't know, have any of you done stand up?
I've wanted to do stand-up, and I've thought about it because I have a lot of topics that I think are hilarious and embarrassing at the same time, which I think is also important.
Where do you get your Instagram stories from? Because a lot of those are essentially stand-up, aren't they? Because you're doing something comes to mind and you're trying to record that, right?
You talk about it.
Yeah. But I don't know how to bottle that. Like, I don't know, because I think like stand-up a lot is they do write down their ideas and their themes and the things that they want to touch upon. Like, a lot of my Instagram is just like things come to mind in the moment. You know what I'm saying? Like things that I'm like, I have to talk about this right now. And like,
improv then.
Yeah, or it's like, you know, I'm going to talk about something that really, you know, kind of drives me crazy, or it's hilarious or something. But at that moment, I'm not thinking like, oh, this is going to be really great for people. People are really going to like enjoy this. Like after I post it, people are like, ah, that was so funny.
It's very like, interesting. Yeah, I read Kevin Hart's autobiography like a year ago. And just the amount of work that he put in, like you're saying, because they have to write down the jokes, they have to like prepare, they have their like test audiences, which are usually in like smaller bars, where there's like and they have the same joke that they keep polishing and polishing and polishing and polishing.
And sometimes it bombs.
It's like, you know,
they know it's a good joke, but then it bombs.
Yeah.
And then they keep maniobrando, puliendo. Because they know there's something in there. Because there's a funny something on there, you know, like I really like Jerry Seinfeld's kind of comedy. It's kind of like, you know, it's smart, but it's also kind of funny in the sense that he finds something that he thinks is so like irreverent or so silly. Like, why do we do this? Like, who decided that this was going to happen, or this was going to be the tenet and stuff like that? I think, you know, Seinfeld was a hilarious sitcom show. And Jerry Seinfeld is very funny. He's also very intelligent too, which I think is also part of comedy, even though we do have, you know, very over the top and silly slapstick comedy. And that's also important because it's hilarious too. Like Animal House, like, you know what movie I saw recently? The one of the guy who created Animal House. What's his name? Whatever. He was one of the founders of that type of comedy. Freaking A, I forgot now. Hold on a second. I'll tell you what his name is. So while you're looking that up, because
that's on Netflix, and I recommend you guys watch it.
Animal House?
Yes. No. The documentary I'm about to tell you. Hold on a second.
So one of the important things of comedy, especially considering the present company, is that intelligence is very important to comedy. Right, guys?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right. Douglas Kenny. So Douglas Kenny was one of the creators of Animal House. He was actually started off as National Lampoon. So he's the one that created National Lampoon. And he started off as Harvard Lampoon because he was in Harvard. And so there's a fake documentary of him on Netflix, which you guys should watch. And I forgot what the hell it's called right now. It's called, Well, I forgot what it's called.
We have a research department.
A Futile and Stupid Gesture. It's on Netflix right now. I recommend you guys watch it because I didn't know about this guy, and like comedy for me is important because I like to make people laugh, you know, like either on purpose or accidentally. Mm-hmm. So I thought it was really interesting, and he started off as a Harvard Lampoon, and then from there it became an actual magazine, and they would make fun of, you know, things that were happening. So they were like similar to Mad Magazine, but I guess a bit more like a magazine. And so they would touch on politics all the time. They would touch on sexuality, and they were very irreverent. And from that, National Lampoon magazine, they came out all the movies, right? National Lampoon and Caddyshack and Animal House.
Vacation, Christmas
so
Vacation.
It's really interesting.
Yeah. Christmas Vacation is forever one of my must-watch Christmas movies, man.
Yeah, well, you guys should watch it. So I'll send you guys in the chat so you guys can check it out. I thought it was a really funny documentary, and he actually passed away like before he was able to see all the fruits of his labor, but he did a really good job starting it off, and he was the creative mind behind National Lampoon. So we have a lot to thank to his comedy.
For sure, man, for sure. And I think that's key, especially with stand-up, man. I remember when I lived in Scotland, I was able to attend the Edinburgh Fringe Festival a couple of times.
Oh my goodness.
Edinburgh Fringe Festival is where you have, you know, a lot of different types of performances going on, theater, musicals, stand-up. And I went to see a lot of free shows because I was a student. I didn't have any money. So I went to these free shows where they had these people that were trying out their stand-up material for the first time.
Wow.
Right? And I remember seeing some of these guys going up there and tanking terribly. And you felt really sorry for them. Because they were like, so...
How about those Mets?
I still have 5 minutes left on my show. Can I get off stage now? And one girl literally went, "Can I get off stage now?"
Aww.
No? Okay. So. And I felt sorry for her.
But you know, it also depends on the audience, dude. Sometimes you just have freaking difficult audiences, you know? And you might rehearse something, you might think it's hilarious, and it's been hilarious for all the previous audiences, but you have that one audience that's like afraid of laughing. Or you have that one audience who's like, they laugh internally, you know, and that also exists. But like you have some people who you're just like throwing things at them and they're just not catching any of them. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I think that's also really funny because, you know, we hold ourselves so hard sometimes when you're on stage and you've been practicing something and you see that, you know, like maybe like while you're rehearsing it was hilarious, you know, and then you go on stage and you do it and nobody got it and nobody liked it and nobody liked your character and they didn't like anything about it, and then you get off stage and you're like, oh, it was terrible. But then you go onto the porch and everyone's like, hey man, you did a really great job. Yeah, they really ate that. My dad was here, he thought it was hilarious. And you're just like, but I had a fucking shit show, man. It was a shit night. What are you talking about? Like, I feel like shit. But you don't tell them, obviously. You're just like, and inside you're just like, oh, that was awful.
I think that's one of the reasons why I felt that improv cast that was right there that HB is showing, like we had a really good sort of teamwork vibe going on, where everyone was really in the zone and really kind of understood, you know, like what we're doing is not easy, and if nobody laughs, I'm still doing something pretty great.
And you know what? And then on top of it, you also have a cast like that. I mean, let's talk about that cast for a second so we can talk about how funny every single person is in their own way. Like you've got Lisa. Lisa's a musician, and so she's so fun, and she's also intelligent and she's very clever. So like you have her, and like she's really good at music. She's really good at like supporting. She's really good at, you know, her facial expressions and stuff like that. Then you have Andrea, who's like a freaking... She is hilarious. Andrea is like
multiple personalities. And she switches like...
She does.
Bing, bam, boom, boom.
She's so funny, man. And all the creative things that come out of her, you're just like, where did you come up with this creative idea, you know?
The character work.
And then you've got HB, who's fantastic as well. Like you're also a very big weirdo, and that's really fantastic as well. And then you got Joe, who always has such funny humans, you know, that come out of you as well. And then you got Yesui, who's got intelligent timing. Like he doesn't have to say anything. He just says one thing, and the entire audience will
kills the planet. Oh my god!
Like, you know, like it's like this hilarious, clever, and like he, you know, it's sometimes just his face, you know, like his face coming up with something. And you're just like, this is so funny, you know what I'm saying? And then you got me, and then you got Billy Shine, man. Billy Shine, who is just like a ball a ball of hilarity and irreverence and just so much sass.
That was Billy's first improv, wasn't it?
Stuff.
Yeah, it was
talented, dude.
Yeah.
I told him.
It should have been before that, because let me tell you something. I saw him when he auditioned for his first improv, and like I was there, and I told Amit, I'm like, dude, this guy is the guy, but for some reason, like, he didn't end up in that improv. I think it was 2017 or something. But like, I remember telling Amit, I was like, dude, Billy Shine, like, I got my money on Billy Shine, man. Billy Shine, because in that improv audition, I think it was Odette, and Odette killed it as well. And there was Billy Shine. And those were two people who I was just like, man, funny people. But Billy didn't get in that moment. He got into the next one. And he was like,
You know what? And it was funny because even though it was his first improv, this one, you also had Lisa and Jesui, who had come off from being hosts in the previous improv.
That's right.
And this was their first actual year as improv performers.
So good.
Andrea, I think it was was it her second year? I think it was her second year doing improv.
Yeah.
And then you had us three, who were like the old heads in the group.
What's really funny about improv? Like, when I first saw it, like, I literally saw the probably one of the first ones, and I started harassing Danielle and Nick. Every single time I'd see them, I'd be like, I want to be on improv. Like, I got what it takes. I want to be on improv. I got what it takes. I want to be on improv. And man, yo soy necia. Everybody who knows me knows that, like, when I got something in my head, I'm like, I wanna. So every time I saw Nick and Danielle, I'd be, and because like they were friends of mine, so it wasn't really harassment, I guess. They couldn't put a, un orden de alejamiento for me, but like I was constantly like telling them, like, I want to be an improv. I want to be an improv. And guess what? I got admitted into improv, and I never had to audition because they knew that I got it, and I was like fresh off the boat.
Where the rest of us had to audition, all you had to do was harass.
Yeah.
Was it hilarious harassment? I mean, were you nagging, or were you actually auditioning on the spot? Because that's what I think happened.
No. I was just nagging, and I would just nag Nick, and I just nagged Danielle, and I think at some point Danielle was probably like, fine, Hilary, no problem, but she's so sweet. I mean, Danielle was like, my nickname for her was Sparrow, because she was like, the more intense we'd get in improv, and like everybody's out of control and talking and like not paying attention, the lower her voice would go, until like you could tell that she was pissed because she wasn't saying a single thing. And so you're like, fuck, man, like, I'm not paying attention, I'm not doing things correctly, because Danielle has gone mute, and she was just looking at you with the big eyes like, are you guys done? Like, let's focus. Because you wouldn't imagine it, but you do have to rehearse for improv. You do have to use your brain for improv. It's not like, things just shooting out. Like, there are things that you have to do in order to prepare for doing all that
let's share that with the audience, because the audience has never been in improv. So when we say that we rehearse for improv, it's not what you're thinking. What we have to do is we have to practice exercising the part of your brain that creates improvisational situations. What you see is completely new. The games we've practiced before.
Nothing we repeat, nothing we do in rehearsal happens on stage.
So we're practicing being improvisational is what we're rehearsing.
Well, what we're doing is that we're playing games that opens our minds creatively to deal with situations in extraordinary ways. So that's a problem that I have with improv. When I'm done with improv, I still keep thinking that I'm doing improv, and so I'll be really weird and goofy with people who are not expecting it, and so they'll be like, what the fuck? And it's because when you come from a group of creative individuals like improv, where everybody is so gung-ho and positive about everything that comes out of your mouth, and instead of being like, oh no, that's weird, they're like, yeah, they're even more weird, or like they'll go with you, or they'll do like weird things. And then you go into like real life, and real life is not like that at all. Like, you're gonna be all like weird, and people are like,
goofball.
Is that person okay?
You know what always happens to me? They're like, oh man, that improv was great. We'll be at a party. And they're like, okay, improvise now.
Yeah,
like, go.
Do something funny.
Ready, go. And you're like, what are you talking about? Oh, you suck.
Like, what? I'm just trying to have my drink.
Yeah, I'm trying to get my crunk on.
Can I just like finish my sangria? Dear Lord, you know?
Seriously.
But it is so special though when you find people who are like, and this is like an improv in real life, like when you find people who are like so open and accepting of your weirdness and of your of your creativity and of the things that you offer, and people who are always like, yeah, that's great, instead of like, yeah, this person's kind of weird. Like, I love that, and improv is very accepting of all the weirdos, where it's like very much like you're clever, you're creative, you come up with weird scenarios.
It's like piggybacking.
That's
you're
awesome.
able to,
You're
able to, that strange thought that pops in your mind, you're able to express it, and the other person piggybacks on that, makes it funnier, and then you can come back and roll it into a snowball, and then it turns into a whole different thing.
Yeah. And it's hilarious. It's hilarious. I love it. It's a great experience, and I think I have so much fun, like, when I'm doing improv and when I'm joking around and stuff like that. Oh, catfishing. Let's talk about catfishing, guys.
Here we go.
All right. I have one final story.
Oh, wait. Is that an improv story? Let's go back.
Yes. I have one funny improv story about Danielle, which I just remembered, and it was super funny. So you all know how Danielle, I don't remember if you guys were there, but I remember that I was there, and it was hilarious. So you guys know Danielle's super proper, super British, right? And you know how the Brits have their own terminology or whatever. So we were playing this game where we were each supposed to have these imaginary balls, right? So, and we're like tossing the green ball and the red ball or whatever the ball. And she says, okay, so now so-and-so has tossed the blue balls to me. So now I have blue balls. And we were all like, oh my God, Danielle.
Third graders. Oh, Danielle's got blue balls.
And she's looking at us like, because they don't have that in the UK. People don't have that terminology. She's like,
they don't masturbate
like, you got blue balls. No, they don't. And then we explained it to her, and she thought we were stupid and immature.
Yeah. I don't know how she did it sometimes, because honestly, like, some of the energy, like when Steve was on stage, Steve had enormous, crazy energy. Like, he'd piggyback on anybody, dude. Like, hey, man, that way,
on my back.
Piggyback on you, and like, hilarious. Like, the amount of energy that Steve has is like, he's like a little bomb that would explode on stage. You know what I'm saying? And so, improv is great. Everybody has their strength and the things that they're really good at, and other people are, it depends on what you do, what you do when you're on stage. What comes out.
For sure.
Hopefully, it's.
All right, catfishing. Catfishing.
All right, so catfishing.
Wait. Let me adjust this picture. So before you get into catfishing, look, I want the audience to just partake of this beautiful woman here. Look at this.
That. Gorgeous.
Embrace
the beauty.
A lot of makeup. Oh.
There you go. All right,
just make mental image.
I've been taking selfies before selfies were even
when we were in rehearsals for this, we were doing a little test of the video transmission, and I showed this picture. And she's like, catfishing, and Joe and I were like, it sounds tasty. What are we talking about? So that's the intro. That's the build up.
All right. So there's a show called Catfishing on MTV, right? Catfish. You guys have heard of this? Like maybe in the United States. It started off because there's this thing, this terminology. It became kind of like a pop type of thing, something that everybody knows about. But catfishing means when you pretend to be somebody else online that you are not, in order to get something from someone. So a lot of the internet has opened up a lot of doors. And sometimes you meet people online, and then there'll be pictures of this person, but maybe you've never met this person in real life. Like you're assuming that what you see is that person, right? Well, catfishing means that whatever you see on that image is not really that person. It's a catfish. So it has become a thing where women who wear a lot of makeup, who do really good makeup, who completely change the way their face looks like because they have a lot of makeup on, that now they call them catfish. Because you'll see this image of me and you're like, damn, Hilary looks like this all the time. But then you see me in real life and like I've got a bun here and like I'm all sweaty and like I've got no makeup on.
I like the story. I like the story, but I want to interrupt you. We have you right above the picture, both beautiful. Both beautiful. I beg to differ.
Amazing. I'm seeing. I don't know which one is more beautiful than the other.
I'm going from the top to. There we go. I'm digging the top. That's a true expression of the inner soul.
Hot. Oh my God.
Yeah. There we go.
Totally.
So I do understand the catfishing is kind of like you're all ta chica plástica, like you're all did up, and then.
But it also came out to mean when you get catfished by somebody is because like MTV made this show, right, Catfish, where they would like find people who've been talking online for a long time. Maybe they have a relationship with this person, and then they would actually have them meet. And a lot of the time,
recognize them?
the person that they would meet was not that person because they had used some picture off of Google, or it was their cousin, or it was somebody else.
That's like,
and they would
like
go
if I put like a picture of Brad Pitt,
person.
and then when they meet me in person, like
Yes.
Brad Pitt doesn't have
Yes.
gray chin hair. You're very handsome, but the gray chin hairs.
Yeah.
Brad Pitt doesn't have
That's
gray
exactly
chin
what
hairs.
catfishing
There.
is.
Oh, I understand.
And so now on TikTok, there's like a funny thing, like where like people would, like women mostly, will upload a picture of themselves when they're all done up, you know, and all like gorgeous and like whatever. And they'll be like, you know, and then they'll show the real picture of what they look like in that instant.
Not the same.
And most of the time, the women are looking like complete crap, like, you know, it's just not. And like, ah ha ha, catfish, you got catfish.
I have a question. How did this
have,
catfish picture make it into the promotional material? Like,
Yeah, really. Are you like,
Well-
I bake, I'm Hilary, this is me?
Well, because like Hilary and Hill is the same thing, and Panna Jane is all the same thing. So it's like, yeah, I bake, but I'm also a woman, and I still look good, you know, and I got 2 babies, and look at me, you know?
girl.
Like, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Damn,
Like,
girl.
it's good,
Yeah.
Look
Let
at
me
that,
let me
you know?
flash those handles right here. Check it
You
out.
know?
The
You know?
Baking Place by
Baking
Hill
Place.
and Panna Jane. Can you
Yeah,
tell us a little
yeah.
bit about how you
That's
chose
right.
these handles? What went into their creation?
Well, Panna Jane has actually been my online handle for as long as I can remember. Like literally, like it's been at least 10, 11 years. Actually, on Twitter, I just had my 11th anniversary on Twitter. Like seriously, I've been talking shit for such a long time. I don't even know like why I still do it, but I enjoy it a lot. I've always enjoyed being online. I've always enjoyed social media, even before like I had an Angel Fire account when I was
Damn.
like maybe 14.
Te tiraste
And like my
cédula.
mom freaked out because there was like a picture of me in like my uniform. I'm like, I'm Hilary Hughes and I live in Panama. My mom's like, are you fucking nuts? Like, are you trying to get like a fucking stalker? Like, bring this shit down immediately. Like, why are you even doing this? You know what I'm saying? So my mom
Man,
doesn't
shout out to your
understand.
moms, man. Shout out to your moms. For keeping you safe,
Right.
man.
Protecting.
Seriously, like there's like the St. Mary's, you know, badge of my school, and like, you know, hi, I'm Hilary, I'm 15. You know what
Ruben
I'm saying?
Blades
Like,
was winking at you
you're
and
fucking
shit.
insane. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Seriously. Man,
You
your
know,
mom knew what she was doing.
I'm surprised I didn't get kidnapped or anything because like I've always been online. Like I've always loved the internet. I've always loved chatting. I've always loved meeting people. Like I have a friend of mine that we met actually on ICQ, and I actually met him because he came with his fiance all the way from Canada to visit Panama, and like we actually met. My friend Terry Osborne, and like my husband's like, "You're doing what?" I'm like, "Yeah, we've been friends online since like ICQ times." Like, and I don't know how or why, but we're still friends, and like, you know, we still keep in contact and we still keep in touch. And he came down with his fiance, and like I gave him the whole idea of what they
Oh,
should
that's
do.
cool. I thought you said he came
Yeah.
down
He
with
said he came down to see
Beyonce.
Beyonce.
That's what I heard.
No,
Yeah.
no, no.
I was
Oh,
like,
Beyonce,
damn, dude, you're friends with
yes.
Jay
I was
Z?
like, what?
No, but he came down and he was like, before he came down, he's like, what should I do? I'm like, look, you should go to Costco, you should go to San Blas, you should do this, that, and the other. And he came down with his fiance and we met, and it was great. You know, we hung out in Casco Viejo with his fiance, and we walked around. He met my children, and it was cool. Like, I feel like people can make friends all the time. Like, I'm still making friends, and I'm 37. Like, you know, a lot of the ladies from the Vagina Monologues are friends of mine now, and I'm so happy about it. And I feel like I'm still young enough to make friends all the time. Like, you know, you guys, I know both you and HB, and you know, you guys know how I am. Like, I'm very like open. I'm very about mashing people together in groups. Like, I'm always like, whenever I have like barbecues or like parties and stuff like that, I bring up all my random friends. You know what I'm saying? I'm always mashing people together because, you know, like I feel like if they're friends with me, then they have to have something that makes them interesting or clever or funny or, you know, fun to be around, or they have something.
All right.
You know what I'm
Pop
saying?
quiz, hot shot.
So-
Have you ever met someone that you're just like, this guy, this person? Nah. Really?
Yeah.
Does it happen often?
Yeah, but for the most part, it doesn't happen often. Like I'm very naive and dumb, and so I'm always like, this person has to have a redeeming quality.
That's not naive.
They have to have
Maybe
something.
idealistic.
And-
Idealistic. That's a good quality.
Hey,
I
you always
think.
got to look for the best in
It's
people.
also dumb because a lot of people are shit, dude. A lot of people are
true.
shit, and I'm very like naive and like, oh, you know, let's give them another chance. Like this person, like maybe they were having a bad day and they made a bad choice. But there are people who are bad. There are people who don't want good for other people. There are people who have very heavy auras, you know, like very negative, you know, heavy darkness, you know what I'm saying? And like, and they can't help but taint things that they touch
Taint.
or, you know, relationships and stuff like that. Yes, taint. The taint. You like that word, huh?
So, you know, what I'm taking from this is Lead with kindness.
Yes.
Hilary leads with kindness. I love that. That's something we should all aspire to do, is to lead with kindness. Because look,
You know, like
But
one of those things.
you don't know what other people are going through. You don't know what they're going through. But if you've been burned by that person a couple of times, like maybe that person shouldn't be in your life, and it's okay also to back up and say, like, you know, I don't want to be friends with this person, or I don't want to hang out with this person because what they give to me isn't really uplifting me. You know what I'm saying? Or you know,
I want to
maybe
rewind. Like, I want to rewind. If you're touching yourself and you feel guilty about it, you need to get rid of that. You need to get rid of that feeling. If you're around people and they make you feel bad for no reason that you can understand, walk away. You walk away from not only those emotions in yourself, but from people who, for some reason that you may not understand, make you feel not good. We are all put on this earth to feel great and excellent and do great things. That's all I got to say about that.
We live in a world.
Cheers, motherfuckers.
We live in a world that's full of so much negativity, man. That, you know, you can't waste time surrounding yourself by people that bring you more negativity. You know? And it sucks because you want to be kind. You want to embrace everyone, but sometimes you can't embrace them all, though.
Yeah. And not everybody, and also, this is another thing. Just because somebody has been in your life for a very long time doesn't mean that they need to be in your life forever. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people are meant to be in our lives for a certain amount of time. You know what I'm saying? And maybe you grow apart. Like, maybe your friendship isn't the same anymore. Like, maybe you still hold that person in high regard, but you don't hang out as much. Or maybe that person was always so, like, verbally abusive or negative, or every time you came up with an idea, they're like, you know, oh, that's dumb. Oh, that's stupid. Oh, why would you do that? Like, nobody needs that kind of negativity in their life. And there's a difference between a person being negative and a person being truthful and coming out of an area of kindness to tell you, like, hey, you know, I think that idea that you have, maybe you need to look into it a little bit more. Maybe it's a little bit foolish because you're going to be spending a lot of money. Like, you know, I think the way that we say things is very impactful. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like, we should be kind with each other, and we should also be empathetic, because you don't know if that person the day before their dog died, you know what I'm saying? You don't know what that person is carrying, you know? So
I think it's, you know,
I don't know. Sometimes it's okay to cut friends.
We're going on a bit of a tangent, but, you know, just imagine, have you ever had a bad day where just someone cut you off? And then what if someone, maybe their dog did die, and maybe they were a little short with you, and then that ruined your day.
Yeah.
How many days did you ruin because of that side effect? You know, so
eso se pega. Eso se pega. So, bad humor, eso se pega inmediatamente, man. It's like immediate. You know what I'm saying? And then you give it to somebody else, and it's like a black boulder that you're passing around. Like, here, you carry this negative, heavy black boulder, you know?
And then you think that just because you feel like crap, it's okay for you to make other people feel like crap.
Yeah.
Which kind of
That's
sucks,
it, Joe.
man.
So,
or maybe you don't even realize
Joe,
it,
give us,
you know? Like, maybe you're, like, treating somebody
Joe,
shortly,
give us an
you know?
inspirational moment. We need one of Joe's inspirational moments about how to treat people.
Hey, man. Nobody tells us when we're little that you got to be kind to other people, man. For the most part, they tell you to be happy. But happiness comes from kindness. So be kind and make the world happy.
Boom.
There you go.
This guy's amazing.
Be kind. Be kind and be positive, and
right.
Don't be afraid to laugh sometimes.
I have something to say. It was like,
so good.
You know how you said there's transitory periods where you have people in your life, and then sometimes they might not be in your life, but sometimes they might come back in your life? I'm going to go make a drink. So,
is it a transition period right now?
I want you guys to talk positively amongst yourselves. I'm going to leave your lives for as a minimal amount of time as possible, because I love you all. But then I'm going to come back into your lives. Bye-bye.
Okay, we'll wait for that. See, that's why I always keep all my instruments for my drink making on the table next to me. That way I don't have to leave.
That's a serious problem. What does that mean?
It means that you have to eat more fruits.
Dude, we can also talk about the fact that I am Cupid. And I was Cupid with you, and
you were Cupid with me, yeah.
But I always tell Kelly that had she not said what she wanted, nothing would have happened.
That's true.
So you got to say what you want.
That's true.
And she told me, she's like, he looks good.
She was like, I want that man.
Yes, exactly. She was like, what's up with that guy? You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
I was like, girl, like, let me tell you what's up with that guy. You know what I'm saying? But nothing would have happened had she been shy. Had she been the past Kelly that I knew from before, past Kelly would not have said, that guy looks good. Like, what's up with him? You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
So like, if you don't tell the universe what you want, if you don't ask the universe what you need, if you don't have a mood board, if you don't have an idea of what you want, how are you going to know what you want, dude? You got to say what you want. Dude, I want a relationship. You cannot. Because you got to write it down in your journal. You got to tell people about it. Dude, it's like, it's very important to let the world know, you know what I'm saying? Like, if that's what you want, you got to be clear about it. You got to be clear and focused about it.
I agree 100%, man. That's why I say it out loud all day, every day. I want to make it happen.
Make it happen. Yes. My new thing is,
man, if it hadn't been for you, then Kelly, maybe she wouldn't have had the guts, you know?
That was beautiful. Everything that you guys said was beautiful. It was so amazing.
Wasn't it?
I loved it.
Hilary is the reason I'm married right now.
What?
Yes.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Yes.
I love it.
Porque yo soy bochinchosa y preguntona. Yo soy bochinchosa y preguntona. Like, not a negative bochinchosa, just like a very curious person.
You use your powers for good.
I think Joe is a great human being, but I felt like he was not happy. And I don't think he was aware that he wasn't happy. And like, you know, yo soy bien preguntona, and I'd ask Joe, like, hey, so, you know, what's going on with your life? Like, where do you see yourself? You're going to go, you know, to tal lugar, you know, to be with the person again? And he'd be like, no. And I'm like, and what about, you know, her? Is she going to come back to Panama? You know, is that going to happen? And he's like, no. And then I'm like, what the fuck is going on, dude? This is a long distance relationship. Like, this guy's not happy at all. And I don't think Joe was even aware of it. Like, it was just me being bochinchosa and being like, dude, my friend is so awesome. He's so great. He's such a great human being. Like, the women, like, literally almost throw their panties at him on stage. Like, that's the kind of reaction that Joe gets. You know, when he's on stage, like, the ladies just go bananas. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, a lot of the men were always asking
like,
me.
Joe, we were talking about Yasui. And Joe will just come out. Joe will just come out and be like, yeah. Everyone's laughing. Like, what the fuck just happened?
It's just like one little thing, like just a face, a facial expression. You know what I'm saying? Like, but like, you know, and so, you know, we had a friend in common, and my friend asked me about Joe, and like, you know, I would tell Joe, I'm like, hey, you know, I have a friend of mine who is a freaking wonderful human being too. You know, like, she's smart and witty and really beautiful. Like, she's drop dead gorgeous. She's super clever. She's so funny. And, you know, like, you know, what's up, you know? But it happened in their own time, which is also what I think is wonderful. So, like, I basically planted a seed in each of their brains, you know, and it happened naturally. It was a very natural thing, you know? So I didn't have to do much, but it was like the little Cupid, you know, like the tiny little.
And you know what happened? The day after I proposed, HB knew I was going to propose when I proposed. He was one of the only people I told. But the day after I proposed, who did we run into in Taboga? Hilary Hughes.
Yes!
What the hell?
It was so funny, though, because, like, I get a message from Joe, and Joe's like, yo, are you in Taboga right now? And I'm like, yeah, I'm in Taboga right now. Like,
yo.
You know,
he said
I'm
yo
here
longer.
With my kids. He was like, yo. And it's like, it was a chat. And I'm like, oh. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, I'm here with Kelly. We're at the restaurant, at the fancy hotel. And I'm all like, so you're at the fancy hotel, you know what I'm saying? Like, and like already in my head, I'm like, that place is so romantic, it's so pretty, it's so great. And then Joe and Kelly are like, hey, are you gonna be at the beach tomorrow? And I'm like, yeah, I'll be here from this time to this time. So I'm at the beach, you know, hanging out with my children. We're completely covered in SPF 17 million, you know what I'm saying? And Joe and Kelly show up and they sit next to me on the petate. And Joe and Kelly shows me the fucking ring. And I start screaming on the beach in Taboga. And I'm like so happy because I feel like there's nothing better than two friends that you love so much, that you care about, that you respect so much, getting together. And I'm just like, yeah, fuck yeah, woo! Because each one of them are so deserving of each other, you know, like they're great human beings. And together even more so, you know what I'm saying? So like if I get to say like I was 5% of that, you know, that little spark, I'm like, yay, I'll take it. I'd love to be a matchmaker. Like that'd be like a dream come
one
true.
One beauty plus one beauty makes like 10 beauty.
I know.
It's just like a whole new beautiful thing.
You know
it's not two beauty. It's 10 beauty. It's amazing.
Yeah, you know? And you know, and the same thing for Karina and HB, like two wonderful human beings together, two human, you know, like I remember when HB was starting to go out with Karina, you guys went to visit me in Peronomé. Remember that? We went to the river and we got wasted on, I think it was.
You got wasted down by the river. Damn.
Eating government cheese.
By the river, you know?
We got like, fucked up.
We literally went to the, still fucked up. But the funny part of that is that we got fucked up and we didn't have cups for the wine. So we had to like make cups out of plastic, like, you know, the Coca-Cola butt, you know what I'm saying? Like
one person had the top of the bottle, the other person had the little.
Yes, exactly.
But fun ensued. We just had fun at the river.
That was at your friend's house, HB, though, at your friend's piece of land right there by the
Cordillera.
By La Pintada.
Yeah.
So
that
nice.
was fun.
Hey,
so nice. We had a blast.
Right now, we have to go to the river when we can go out again and see people.
Please. HB's been there. Actually, we went there in 2020, HB. You just went there just a couple of months ago. Right before all the shit hit the motherfucker.
Yeah, right before all the insanity, man. All before the craziness.
We were able to enjoy our summer a little bit, though. But, like, definitely, maybe not for 2021, but maybe for 2022. I've already told HB about this as well, that, like, I want to have, like, a weekend get-together and people can just bring their camping equipment. That little section of that piece of land is just wonderful. There's like a little area where you can do camping. There's a house as well if you don't want to do camping. And the river is perfect. In like summertime, it's like the most perfect place. The wind is high, so you can do kite flying. You can also like do a lot of fun stuff, bonfires. And I just want to have like all of my close friends. And like by close friends, it's probably like 50 people. But like just people who really get along, you know, and have kids and run around, and you can have kids or you cannot have kids, or you can put music on, play the guitar, just have like a family down home get together. You know what I'm saying?
And we can have a live cast.
Everything, you know what I'm saying? And like you can do yoga, you can just, you know, hang out, you can do some improv acting, if you want to do some practicing. Like I just want to have a weekend of like people having a good time. Is that your forecast, Hill? Like vibes.
You think that's going to be maybe 2021? What's your outlook? What's your?
She said 2022.
2022.
I did say 2022. Well, look, if I don't think that we are going to be at. I mean, hopefully by the middle of 2021, maybe we'll have everything in order in the sense that, you know, we'll be able to eradicate it. But I don't know. I mean, I feel like we're still far from the vaccine. I think the vaccine's on stage 2 or stage 3 of testing. And by the time it actually reaches massification, it'll probably be 2021 or something. I don't think it's going to be done before that.
You know, now that they've opened up the salvoconductos and all this stuff, a lot of people are like, "Hey, can I come visit you?" And I'm sorry, I'm taking the posture of, no, you know, I'm a very, very social person, as you guys both know. But at the moment, it's not worth it to me. You know, I miss you guys.
We have to respect that. Everybody has to respect that.
I do miss you guys.
You know?
However, we have time. We have time. There's no reason to put ourselves at risk. Yeah. Well, that's a downer note. Let's get back on the upper note.
I mean,
oh, man.
Look at all this craziness here. We're in the after party.
Hey, you know what? Let me tell you something. The first time I ever did improv, and this is gonna circle around back to Hilary. The first time I ever did improv, all right, I remember I was so excited because I'd never done something like this as an adult, obviously. And I remember like the way people reacted. You were like, "Oh my god, you guys are so funny. You guys are the best." So you know, you always go online to see if you can find like reviews and stuff of the shows to see what people are saying. And one of the first reviews I ever read, I think Hilary used to have a blog, like Hannah Jane or something. She had a blog and she did a review of improv, and I think he mentioned me by name as being funny on the show, and I was like, "Oh my god, somebody like me!"
Oh my god, so funny, man! I don't even remember, but
so happy.
dude, but You are. You guys are hilarious, dude. Joe is so funny, dude. And the funny thing about Joe is that you see him so big and so tall, and you're like, this guy, but you're so hilarious. Like the fact that you are willing to do all these crazy, goofy things, you know, and that's really masculine. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that's like super masculine because, you know, there's a lot of toxic masculinity, like, oh no, men don't do this, men don't do that. But it's like, dude, if you're comfortable with yourself, you can do whatever the hell you please. You know what I'm saying? Like that doesn't define me, it doesn't define who I am. You know what I'm saying?
Who does that? The Rock.
The Rock, he's hilarious. Oh, I love him. I love him. I love him.
I would vote for him.
I watched The Mummy recently with my kids.
I saw an article where it said that he was like actually leading the polls, and I was like, you know what? That totally makes sense right now because what's happening is insanity. I just don't even know what to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't even want to touch that subject because like I have a lot of, I have some family members who are very pro-Trump and I've got some family members who are like the complete opposite. And it's like difficult because I'm obviously not pro-Trump and it's difficult to navigate that, you know, and like without making somebody feel like what their choice is dumb. It is dumb. I'm sorry, but it's difficult because, it's difficult to understand that. Like I cannot comprehend people who have, you know, still after all this time, who are still, you know, supporting him. But then again, you know, there's a lot of craziness happening right now. There's a lot of disinformation. There's a lot of bots, and there's a lot of stuff happening from Russia and from China. Like people always want to, you know, they want a country that's unstable. You know what I'm saying? And so that's definitely happening. You know what I'm saying? So. I don't know. It happens here in Panama too. Martinelli won by a platform that had to do a lot with social media and like, you know, all that kind of stuff. So let's change that subject.
Look down here. We have the baking place. So the people who've tuned in and seen these delicious cakes, they've heard delicious stories. So what's the deal? Like, are they able to petition a cake? Do you have things for sale?
Yeah. How do they?
What's the business model here?
Well, no. Everything is my business model is bad. Like, don't ask me about costs and stuff like that. That's like awful. But like, I always use.
So what you're saying is that everything that you make has love in it.
Yes, and everything is baked to order. So like, I don't have anything lying around like in my fridge. Like, there's a cheesecake just waiting to get picked up. No, like you have to literally give me at least 3 days in advance and a down payment of half of whatever the thing is, so that I can actually do this with time. So everything is baked to order. So you'll be like, hey, so-and-so's birthday is on the 20th of September, and I'd like it for the 19th of September. And then, you know, you and I will talk a little bit like, so, you know, you said you wanted it to be out of vanilla, but do you have any, like, is there anything else in particular that you would like? Like, do you want the frosting to be a coffee frosting, or do you want like the filling to be Nutella?
What kind of pizzazz are you looking for?
Yeah.
What kind of pizzazz? Like, well, I want to know what they like and what they don't like. If, you know, I like to have creativity in my cakes. Like, and if they tell me like, dude, I just want a chocolate cake and you do whatever else you want, and I know that they're not allergic to peanut butter and nuts, then I can, you know, kind of go crazy and do whatever I want. But there are people who are very particular and they don't want certain things. Like, I've got a friend of mine who loves the vanilla buttercream frosting, and she wants it to be her filling, and she wants it to be her frosting, and she wants a vanilla cake, and so she wants vanilla with vanilla, and that's absolutely all she wants.
I've got a question for you, Hill.
And that's all she wants, you know?
I've got a question for you. I've been watching Nailed It on Netflix. Have you seen that show?
Yes.
And they always mention the buttercream. And you know, I like to cook. Baking isn't my specialty, but I delve into that area. And I think we had an extensive talk about parchment paper, and we also had an extensive talk about the difference between creme brulee, flan, and I don't know. We went into the rabbit hole, but what is buttercream? Please.
So
buttercream, custard, flan, and creme brulee.
Yes, exactly. So buttercream is a frosting that's based with butter. So basically, you grab 2 sticks of butter, which is a cup of, you know, like literally a cup of butter, and you make sure that it's room temperature, but not completely, you know, not completely derretido, because in Panama, room temperature is like 100 degrees, you know what I'm saying? So like, take it out of the fridge, like maybe an hour, or like, you know, out of the freezer or whatever. Let it get a little bit like, you know, suave, but not completely like, you know what I'm saying? And then you stick that into your blender or your whipper, and you whip it. You start whipping it, you start whipping it until it's nice and fluffy. You start adding powdered sugar, okay? So you don't want the regular sugar because it'll be, when you bite into it, you'll feel that crunch, And so frosting is not supposed to be crunchy, okay? So you use el azúcar en polvo, powdered sugar, and usually it's about 3.5 cups of powdered sugar. You also add a little bit of vanilla, and you also add like maybe 2 or 3 tablespoons of milk or of cream. And so basically the consistency should be smooth. It should be something smooth, and so that you can actually put it on the cake. And so the cake also has to be
so essentially
cool. So like if you,
this
example,
is the butter version of whipped cream.
Yeah, I guess similar. Yeah, similar.
I wanted to point out
buttercream, there's different kind of frostings too. Buttercream is exactly what I just mentioned, but there's also Swiss buttercream frosting. So Swiss buttercream frosting uses cooked sugar. So the sugar is actually melted with a little bit of water, I believe it is. I've never made it, but it's hot, and so you start incorporating it into the sugar and stuff, and so it's actually cooked. And then there's also another kind of buttercream. There's all kinds of frostings. I like buttercream because it tastes good.
Okay.
For example, I don't like fondant.
I just wanted to point out to the audience that a lot of powdered sugars have cornstarch in it to keep it from sticking. And if you want to have powdered sugar without that, you can use a coffee grinder or a blender to break up your sugar, break up the granular sugar into something more powdery. It's HB
I did not
tip
know that, but like
256.
now I know.
Hey, listen.
Well, now I know because I did not know that before.
I think we should all get together and put out a cookbook, man.
For sure. Cooking with chest hairs.
My cookbook will be called like learning how to cook, like on YouTube. Like, because YouTube has helped me a lot. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of times where you're cooking and you don't know, like it came out badly. And it's good to go online and do your own tutorials and find out online, like what happened here? Like, what was the difference? Like, why did my cake deflate? You know, like, oh, you took it out of the oven too soon. Like, maybe you should leave it in the oven
my
a little
plátano
bit.
brownies came out looking so beautiful. They had like a nice crust on the edges. They had that little crackly, flaky thing on top. And I was like, oh yeah. And then it was like,
yummy.
I could hear in my head. And it turned into a pancake. Still delicious.
Don't give up, though.
Oh no.
Don't give
I've
up.
got a whole
Do it
box
again.
of plátano that will not let me give up.
Don't give up, man.
So there's, you know what you can do with plátano? You can do a plátano lasagna. So you replace the pieces of lasagna for plátano. So you can have like a ground beef plátano lasagna.
I've done that with
that
eggplant.
sounds amazing.
I've done that with
man.
eggplant.
Send it this way. Send it this way.
Yes. You can do it with
Send it
eggplant,
this way.
but you can also do it with plátano.
What else do you got? I got a box full of
Send it to
plátano.
me.
And these are... Oh,
Okay.
You know what I've done, Hill?
You should have
Joe.
a restaurant and call it the Plátano Place.
El platanal.
Platanal. El Platanal by HB. I love it.
I'm not a big fan of
love it.
plátano. It's just
So,
the funny
okay.
thing is, you know what I do instead of because
Patacones, man.
patacones. Please don't call them tostones on my show. I'm just kidding.
No,
Platacones.
Is
And I like my patacones when they're pintados. So my patacones
you
when
like
they're
the-
a little bit sweet. I mean, regular patacones are fine too, con plátano verde. But if they're a little bit pintones, like a little bit yellow, when you make them, they're gonna be a little bit sweet.
I don't.
And so
The thing is like as much as I like patacones, I don't like the fritura. So what I've come up with is, and thanks to Hilary, I've discovered the wonders of parchment paper. I think we had like an amazing chat about that. It was like 8,000 lines about the wonders of parchment paper.
That's good.
I take the green plátano and I grate it, and then I mix it in a bowl with oil,
Hash browns.
and then I make patacon shaped coins on parchment paper, and I bake the crap out of them. Delicious. You don't have to fry, and it takes out
good. I
2
like that
steps.
idea.
It works. They get a little chewy.
But you know what? You can also probably do like hash brown patacones too. Like, I mean, that's exactly what hash browns
Yeah,
are.
exactly.
You know, which is just like, grated potato with huevo and un poquito de harina, salt and pepper, and then you fry it. But I mean, you could also just do it in the oven on top of the parchment paper. Yes, absolutely.
For sure.
Damn, that's a good idea. I like that. I also have a plátano plant in the backyard.
What other delicious recipes suggestions do you have for plátano verde and plátano maduro?
Mango is from República Dominicana. I've never made mango, but you can make mango as well. It's yummy. It's good.
That's like
my nanny is
mofongo,
Dominican,
right?
so we've had times here. Mofongo as well. Mofongo, is it the same?
It's boiled.
Or is it just a name? Because mofongo is
Puerto
Rico, and then mango is from Dominican.
I think so, but I think mango has more like shrimp and salsa and stuff mixed into it.
Yummy. Dude, instead of banana bread, plátano maduro bread. I mean, it's basically the exact same thing. Because for banana bread, the kind of bananas that you want to use when you're going to make banana bread are like the ugliest bananas. Like literally when you have like that banana that you're just like, dude, it's going to go bad like right now. That's what you want to use. You want your bananas to be like really a lot of black patches on the skin. And when you open it, it's all like, like a sad banana. Like, don't worry about it. Don't be grossed out. Just add those bananas to your banana nut bread like the best. Like literally moist deliciousness with a bad banana. Biggest. That's it. That's all you need.
And you can. I've done salud. I've done carimañolas out of mashed plátano.
Oh man, I love carimañolas.
But you have to cook them right away. They don't freeze well. And whenever you freeze a banana, it gets really. It loses its texture.
Yeah.
I imagine so. Because a bad banana, they get like, they get nasty after a while, especially like al aire libre and stuff. It's not going to be working. Yeah. It's not going to be working. But I don't know about other recipes for plátanos. Like, I mean, I'm assuming you could do all kinds of stuff, dude. Like all kinds of stuff.
I've been Googling.
But you know what's?
And there's like West African plátano recipes that sound very interesting. That has like crawfish in it, like camarón de río and stuff like that. And I was thinking I can get the little camarón titi, the little salted ones from El Rey,
Yeah.
Maybe I can use those.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll try it out and I'll report back.
The ones that are already like dry, the dry ones, or the ones that are actually uncooked?
The little dried ones. And I can reconstitute them.
The dry ones, yeah. Eso le da sabor a las sopas y las cosas, yeah. That's what people like to cook. A lot of colonenses cook with dried shrimp para darle sabor a las cosas.
I put those in my
because
kimchi.
It's a little...
It gives it the.
Do you do your own kimchi?
Yeah. It gives it the umami.
Yummy. I don't. There's some certain things that I don't like.
You don't like?
Kimchi's okay. There's a place called Gangnam Place that belongs to the father or the parents of a friend of mine. It's a real Korean restaurant. You guys should try it out. Gangnam Place. They have delicious Korean pancakes. They're so good.
We got to try that out. Joe and I think
yummy.
right before the pandemic, Joe and I went to a Korean place there in San Francisco.
Oh, man. We did, dog.
Yeah. We got a little crunk on the soju, which is never a bad thing.
Yeah.
Shout out to Danny Lee, who taught me. Danny Lee taught me the finer points of soju drinking.
Man, soju's the bomb. Soju is the bomb, dog.
Is it like sake? Because I've never actually had soju.
Essentially. Yeah, it's rice wine.
Yeah, almost like fermented stuff. Yeah, I'm down for fermentation, dude. Fermentation is so important, and the truth is, when you eat things like kimchi and things like pickled things, they're actually really good for your gut, for your gut bacteria. Your gut bacteria likes that because it brings a certain acidity to it. So it's not good to overdo it, but like it's actually really good for your gut activity to have some pickled stuff.
I pickled some watermelon rinds.
Everything in moderation.
I've heard of that. I've heard of pickling watermelon rinds. I've heard of that. I've heard of it. So how was it?
Because if you think of pickled cucumbers, or what we call pickles, or pickled cucumbers, the watermelon is a larger version of a cucumber. It's in the same family.
Yeah.
So Karina was doing a lot of watermelon juice, and I can't eat raw cucumbers or watermelon.
Why?
I get gassy. I get gassy, you know.
Oh no, not the gas.
So another one of the benefits, besides what you mentioned, the probiotics, but another one of the benefits of pickling is that it breaks down certain sugars that you might not be able to digest. You peel off the green part of the rind, and you eat the red part of the rind, and you have the little white part.
Yeah. The whitish greenish part.
I lacto fermented those, and they came out super delicious. They taste exactly like cucumber pickles.
Nice. That's awesome. Wow. I did see about that. Yeah.
So what I'm thinking is
Kelly looking at us right now?
Did we miss? Did we have a Kelly? Did we have a Kelly appearance?
No. I was thinking about pickles, so I looked that way to think about the pickles.
Oh yes, the pickles. Dude, I have been thinking about pickling though, because Andrew just bought like a whole box of like the bell jars. So I'm like, maybe I should do a little pickling.
Should,
you know, the El Rey and also the Chinese gardens there near Albrook have the seedless cucumbers, the smaller ones. Oh, and Andrew has the smaller.
Yeah.
Those are perfect.
The little courgettes.
Perfect for lacto fermenting. And just you just put a 5% saltwater brine. If you do just that, that's your perfect introduction into pickling. You just really can't go wrong. You cut the ends off.
I'll try it out.
You pack them in a thing and you pour some hot salt water into it and just leave it. And then you can get fancy after that. You throw some garlic in there. You throw some bay leaves in there.
Yeah.
The bay leaves and grape leaves, those are what make your pickles crunchy when you pickle them.
Wow. Yeah. I was really into pickles when I was little. I'd eat them like constantly because I saw like my older cousin eating pickles, and I thought like, man, she's so cool eating those pickles. And so like I got into like a pickle thing. Like I ate a lot of pickles growing up.
Love pickles.
But like, you know.
7-Eleven, they used to sell you single pickles in a plastic bag. And you could get these hot pickles that had like hot sauce.
So classy. Nothing classier than a pickle in a bag.
Those pickles, man. Oh.
So classy.
A single pickle in a plastic
beautiful.
bag.
That's beautiful.
Oh wow, man! I didn't even know there was like a market for like single pickles, you know, in a bag.
Apparently,
and, you want a single pickle?
I think this was in the 90s. I think this was only in the 90s that people liked having single pickles. Now I don't think it happens.
It's like the fad passed.
Excuse me, can I have a pickle to go, please? Thank you.
One pickle.
Here's your pickle. Oh my god. Was that here in Panama though?
No, this was in Miami, man.
Oh
Miami.
My god, yeah.
7-Eleven.
Like,
you'd go to the refrigerator, you'd open the fridge, and there were pickles in plastic bags.
You would just get your own pickles. Like there wasn't like a pickle man who like put it in a bag. It
was it vacuum sealed or was it just a bag like the mangos, like mango verde or what?
No, it was like in juice, and it had like a stamp, like, you know, pickle man pickles or something, like from a brand. It was a brand.
Wow.
I cannot explain to you how amazing that was. Because then I would take it to school. For snack time. You know, so I'd pull my pickle out of my backpack.
You pulled your pickle out at school?
Hey.
I always pulled my pickle out of school. And then I would be like, pickle time. And then people be like, hey man, can I have a bite of your pickle? I'd be like, hey, bite my pickle all you want.
Hey, I can share my pickle. Sure, no problem.
Pickle in your mouth.
Pickle for you.
Oh man.
Oh man, who knew, man?
Yeah, Joe at a very young age was sharing his pickle with everybody.
Yes,
it's beautiful.
I told you have to be kind.
Joe's pickle equals kindness.
Share the pickle.
That's right.
I hear that. Big time.
Well, I'm going to try it out. HB, send me the recipe.
I'll do that.
Listen, I think, Hilary, you should start selling pickles in bags as part of your... You know, I think it's a whole new market for you.
It's...
Oh, but you know what I just had? You know what I had recently that I had never had before? And HB's going to think I'm very silly. But I had never had mangosteen. Have you guys had mangosteens? I'm pretty sure HB's probably had a mangosteen.
The purple one?
Joe, you've never had a mango? Yes, the purple one, exactly. So, mangosteen is from Central America. I believe it is. I didn't really Google it, but I think it's from Central America. And it's got a hard outer casing, and you cut it open with a knife, and you open it, and it's got like a bunch of little white pods. Some of the pods have seeds in it, but it's like almost like a mamey, but instead of not mamey, I'm sorry.
Mamoncino.
No. It's like Es similar
Ice
a
cream
algo que
fruit.
tenga como una piedra dura. Yeah, it's yummy. It's yummy. It's like similar to that one that's like really long. When you open it, it's got the white pods all around, you know, like inside.
Yeah.
Similar but round. And so the pieces are like bite sized. And the flavor is delicious. It's like a really good fruit. It's yummy. And so, you know,
Yeah.
that was interesting. I had never
What's it
had
called? Mangosteen.
Mangosteen. Yes, I had never had a mangosteen before.
Mangosteen.
But speaking of interesting vegetables and fruits that are actually autóctonos de Panama, so el piva is literally from Central America. And the ancestors that were here in Central America back in the day would use everything about the piva tree. So they would use the palm fronds, they would use the seeds, and they would use the bark of the trees. They would make canoes out of it, they would make their houses out of it, and they would use the palm fronds, and they would also eat the seeds. So piva is literally as autóctono as you can possibly get.
Wow.
Here, exactly. So it's
I've collected a bit of
I like piva.
piva
Piva's good.
in if you you know the nut inside of a piva, if you crack it open, it's like cracking open a coconut. There's little coconut meat in there.
Oh, I didn't know.
And in Colombia they call it chontadura.
Wow.
It's like a hard
chontadura.
It's
That's awesome.
called like a hard tomato. But piva is delicious. Peach palm fruit.
Piva is delicious, dude. It's so good. It's so good. You can even make ceviche out of piva too. Like ceviche de piva is freaking lo máximo. It's delicious, especially if you're like vegan or vegetarian and you don't want to eat, you know, fish or whatever. Like, dude, it's the same shit, dude. It's delicious.
Super delicious.
It's so good.
What do you guys put on your piva?
I like salt and pepper basically. Like that's as far as it goes. But you can also put mayonnaise.
I do
mayonnaise
and a little bit of curry powder.
Fancy.
But mostly just mayonnaise or garlic mayonnaise. But I eat the skin too. I eat the fiber skin. I eat it like an apple.
You just like munch on it, you know, just like
Are you a
Man,
You
I
have
love
like a
piva.
piva?
you're not a pivero?
Do you have piva in you? Do you have a pivero?
No,
No, I don't have a
Who has a
pivero.
pivero?
I was asking are you a fan of the pivaggio?
Yeah, I love piva. I haven't had it in a while though, but now I want some. Hearing you guys talk about
Oh,
it.
delicious.
Fresh piva, the smell, like the piveros, usually the ones that used to be in front of El Rey here in Albert. Like there was a really good pivero there. Like he was the best, but I don't think he's there anymore.
I got one in El Rey de Calle 50. Next time I go over there, I'm gonna hit him up, man.
Yeah, I see him. He used to do boyos too. He would do boyos and he'd also do piva as well. Yeah,
I always hit him up for bollos and for torrejitas, but I'm gonna hit him up for something.
You know what I love also, speaking of all those national Panamanian things, like when I lived in La Pintada, there was a lady who would make a fresh changa, and changa is basically like tortilla fresca, pero de maíz nuevo. And so she would make these giant changas the size of my head, and al carbón, asado al carbón. Shit, that shit was so good.
Smoky
Like
flavor.
I would go there. I'd like drive there because she was only available on Sundays, and if you got there too late, like she'd be no hay changa, mi amor, no hay changa. So like I'd get there right on time, and like I'm there at 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, I need some changa. And she's like, no, mi amor, no hay changa. I'm like, no, Anita, why?
I need my changa.
Bitch, 10 o'clock in the morning is too late, girl. You gotta show up at like 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock. You want changa?
That's right.
Madruga,
You gotta be early.
Madruga. You know, 10 o'clock in the morning, half the morning's already gone and you're asking for
it's already lunchtime, man.
You know, come on.
She's got the next.
And it was so good though. And she'd have like a little styrofoam cooler right there at the side of the road, and you're just like, when you'd see that styrofoam cooler, you're like, there's changa. But the worst thing is like you'd get there, you'd open it up,
no changa.
Nothing.
No hay
It's gone.
changa.
Damn, that hurts. That hurts.
Oh man.
It was like painful.
What are some of the other treats out from the Penonomé area that you know that really reciprocate with yourself? Is that a word?
Well, I love the changa. Changa is definitely like my number one. I have my changa, you know, the person who does the changa. They also used to do bollos. I love bollos.
Changuera.
But I'm all about the maíz nuevo. Like I don't want any of this maíz viejo. Don't do any of that shit with maíz viejo. I don't like it. Some people do like it. But like for me, it has to have, it tiene que ser maíz nuevo, because if not, I don't like the flavor. I don't like the way it looks, nothing. And I also like that thing that was like made out of sugar cane. That's like a big round thing that you can just like eat, you know, like that. Oh, so good. But like fresh raspadura, like literally like like still gooey, like fresh, like, you know, the cane, the horse has been dándole vueltas a la vaina and like fresh. What's also another thing that I like from Pronome that I don't remember eating? I don't remember. Oh, cocada, man. Like, it's got to be fresh, though. It's got to be cocada. It's got to be, like, made with raspadura. Like, I don't want any of this fake, artificial, purple, white. No, like, I want the brown cocada. And it's got to be, like, a big freaking, like, you know, like a big, nice, real coconut, like, you know, the kind that you make, like,
grated
you know,
coconut with so
good.
For those of you out here, all 1,000 people who are still tuned in, let me check real quick. Thousands.
So many.
So raspadura is cane juice that's been they boil off the water, so you're getting, it's sugar cane. The water's boiled off, so it's like a precursor to white sugar or brown sugar. So it's you can eat it. It's delicious. And I think they call it panela in Costa Rica. Excellent to cook with because it's full of sulfur.
Fresh, delicious. Yes.
And then
but fresh, like I like it when it's still fresh.
You have fresh grated coconut with the raspadura. So you have this sugar cane, fresh coconut ball of deliciousness. That is probably the most addictive thing in the world, by the way.
It's delicious. It's delicious. Also, pan bon. Pan bon, I love it when it's fresh. It's
we're going to Colanside, huh?
Okay, pan bon is good. Pan bon is good, but
we're going to Colanside talking about Colón.
Real made arroz con coco. Like, I have a friend who, like, we spent a lot of our childhood in La Guaira because she had a house there. She still has it there, actually. Jamie, HB knows Jamie.
For sure.
So we spent a lot of time
running
place, man. In La Guaira, and like our parents were like nowhere to be found. They were doing their own thing, and like they were probably like, what's the worst that could happen to them, right? Like they're just, you know, like preteens running wild in the jungles and hanging out with all the locals and stuff like that. Like I don't remember ever wearing shoes or like fully clothes. Like it was just like bathing suit and barefoot, running up the jungles of La Guaira and like, you know, snorkeling off the side of the coral reefs and stuff like that. And one of the neighbors of Jamie's in that little area, that lady doesn't live there anymore, but like one of the clear things that I remember about her, era una señora mayor, you know, she was from La Guaira, and like she would just like a pailón, like a huge paila de aluminio, and like you'd see her there, de que raspando el coco, you know, like all day long, all afternoon raspando el coco, and making fresh arroz con coco. That shit is like literally right next to the water, you know, like just la paila arroz con coco, freshly made with the actual fresh coconut juice and the nice tender meat.
You're reminding me of two of my favorite anecdotes. The thing that you know, have you seen black palm? It's a palm tree that has these huge black spines coming out of it. So they take that.
You don't want to be walking in the jungle.
Yeah.
You know, press on that.
Right. You put your hand on that, you're screwed. Anyway, they cut the spines off, and that's what they used to grate the coco with, is the black palm. Second story, La Guaira, right across the channel's Isla Grande. And after these amazing parties that we'd have there, I would take the ferry over and get the best huacho de marisco that was ever made in the entire world. That you're feeling this bad, and after you eat it, you're feeling this good, man. That was the best. Huacho de marisco, goodness.
There's definitely something special about the Gold Coast. I mean, the Gold Coast has a very special feeling. I really enjoyed spending a lot of my childhood there because I went to La Guaira a lot, dude. Like we went there a lot because they were remodeling a house. They had bought this old wooden house and then they tore it down. They built the house that they have there right now. So we'd go there like a lot, you know, and like I spent a lot of time growing up with like friends, and my mom was really cool with me hanging out with my girlfriends and on the weekend and stuff. So La Guaira is a really cool place. I do remember one time we were like walking because there's a couple of rivers behind La Guaira that go up into like, you know, into the jungle because there's like a cerro right there, and like there's like, you know, like a group of us, like wild children, barefoot, and like
Lord of the Flies children.
Yes, like our parents, like God knows where they were, and they had no care in the world about what their kids were doing, you know what I'm saying? And we didn't get into much trouble, but we were very curious, and so we decided to go on this trail that was behind her house, and we didn't know where it was going to lead us. And so, it went all the way up into the cerro. And like, we walked all the way up. And of course, like, we're wearing like bathing suits and like barefoot. Like there's no preparation to go on a trail ride. There's a trail walk or anything, like no flashlight, no nothing,
Yeah.
And then on the way down, the trail was so narrow that we'd have to take turns on who was in front and who was behind, because you can only do like a single file walk down. And as we're walking down, like I'm just walking around, and literally I'm the first person there, and I almost stepped on a freaking sea snake. And of course, sea snakes are like highly poisonous. They're not aggressive though, and their mouths are not that big. So like the odds of you actually getting bit by a poisonous sea snake are, they're very small, and they're not aggressive. But it scared us so badly. Like I just remember us like screaming and just like darting down the rest of the hill, full blast. Like I don't give a fuck anymore, because like shit, there's nothing scarier than running into like a snake. I don't know who was more scared, the snake or us,
Yeah, the snake's like, what?
That guy, he left, man. He was like, he didn't even have legs. He sprouted legs, and he was down that hill, dude. Like
you prompted some evolution. You scared him so bad.
Yes, I did. He's like a lizard now.
Check out my legs.
Look what I just grew.
That's right.
Evolution,
Last week we made some torrejitas de bacalao. Oh my god.
Yummy.
And we planted some ahichombo plants out here, and they've been spitting out so many ahichombos. We have them coming out of our ears.
You can pickle that too,
Huh?
You can pickle that probably.
Oh yeah.
You can probably pickle that.
Well, what I do is I make I call it alien vomit. You slice them in half, and you put them in a jar of vinegar with onions and culantro, and then that vinegar, you put it on everything.
Wow.
And it's just.
You could probably like make your own hot sauce and everything.
That's what I want to do. Is now that we're kind of overrun. There's no more room in the pickle jar, so you can pickle.
We're talking about pickles again?
Ahichombo. Yeah.
Oh my god, ahichombo and pickles must be the ball.
Yeah, it is.
Dude, you need to pickle that shit and sell it, dude. If you make your own picante sauce, dude, like, man, people are willing to do a lot for good picante sauce. I don't eat picante though, so not me, but some other.
But that's the thing, is like I like a flavorful hot sauce, but I like to maintain the recipe of the food, and then kick it up a bit without changing the flavor, because a lot of hot sauces have a lot of ingredients that'll change the flavor of your food. So if you just half your hot peppers and just put them in vinegar so that they don't spoil, you can take them out and chop them up and put them into your food. Have only the flavor of the hot pepper, without the turmeric, without the mustard, without the garlic, without all the other flavors changing the flavor profile of the food that you're trying to make more interesting.
Wow.
That's my take on it.
Well,
I got a funny story about hot sauce.
Yeah.
Check this out. So I was in Bocas del Toro for work, right?
Uh-oh.
And we went to one of these restaurants, these little shack restaurants by the water, with one of our contacts there in Bocas, who was like, I'll take you to the best place for pescado frito, arroz con coco, like deliciousness. And I was like, yo, this is happening. This has to happen right now.
Let's do this.
So we're at the restaurant, and they were, at the table, en la mesa, ¿sabes? La mesa vieja con el tapete, la vaina y la cosa.
Yeah.
The hot sauce they sell there, they had the table, was the one that's in like the old botellitas chiquitas de seco, and then it had like a flip cap somehow. Una pacha. They had put like a flip cap on it somehow. So I was like, this is great. So I'm dousing my stuff in hot sauce. I'm like, this is wonderful. I put it on the table. I put it down, and I go to close the flippy cap
It's
as it's on the table. So I go to, and it goes. It closes, and I got ahichombo in my eye, man. And I'm sitting there like, and he's like, what's the matter? I was like, I have hot sauce in my eyes. Oh my god.
Oh my god, I feel the pain, Joe.
I cried for a bit, but then the food was delicious.
There's a picante from Bocas del Toro, from, I think it's Lily's Breakfast. She's got like a restaurant right on the water. Her name is like, and she does like really great breakfasts and stuff like that. But she also sells her own picante, and the name of the picante is Kilimimon sauce.
I have a bottle of it.
Yes, because it's freaking.
You're killing me, man.
How long does that last? How long? Because I still have a jar of hot sauce from Bocas that I bought like 2 years
doesn't
ago
go bad,
in La Pachita
ever.
de Seco in my
It
refrigerator.
doesn't go bad.
Okay.
Never in a life.
So, even less so. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. I'll be right back.
We'll be here. So,
I know
Joe,
quarantine.
tell me a little bit about your favorite hot sauces. Do you have one? You know, I was telling Hilary that, you know, since I started growing hot peppers myself, I've grown away from the diverse flavors that come in bottled hot sauces. I just want to put the pepper into my soup.
Yeah.
I just want to put the pepper into my torrejitas de bacalao with all the extra ingredients. But, you know, aside from that, just to bring you up to date, do you have a go-to hot sauce that's just your favorite?
Well, I think in our refrigerator here, there's always 3 hot sauce that are never not there.
Right.
We always have Delidas.
Right.
That's like a constant in the house. There's another one called Hot Chombo, which I started buying recently. And that one, and again, it's an ají chombo sort of thing. And then there's also Sista House.
Sista House, yes.
Which is one that,
for sure.
Yeah, that one's also a constant. And then whenever I go to Bocas del Toro, I always buy hot sauce.
Kilimi man. Someone always brings me a bottle of that. It'll surprise you guys to know that I've never been to Bocas del Toro. But I have one that I've been buying even more than Delidas is Congo sauce. And you guys are familiar with the Congo that's red. But there's a Congo that's Secretos Caseras, I think it's called. Like the house secret one. Delicious. That one's really good.
Right.
And then since I've been growing my own hot peppers, I pack them in vinegar. And then when I need hot sauce, I just pour the vinegar on whatever I want the heat on. And it's super hot. Like I cut the peppers in half and I pack them in vinegar. That way they don't spoil. And if I need a hot pepper in my sancocho, I chop that up, throw it in the sancocho. But if I want, like if I have a piece of pizza, I pour a few drops of that vinegar on there, and that has absorbed all of the heat. It's got the hotness from the peppers and the seeds. It's beautiful. I call it alien vomit.
That sounds amazing.
Dude, I had to change. My computer died.
Oh
no.
Let me
I'm over here.
Hold on. Let me update the feed.
It just died. It's like your computer ran into a problem, and that was it.
No.
So, yeah, he was like, "I think you've done enough talking for today. Like you haven't stopped
Never
talking.
enough.
Please, I'm exhausted."
Never enough.
That's what the after party's all about. Give me a second, Hill. I need to update the.
I'm sorry. Just my computer just completely decided to.
No problem.
You know,
maybe I can open it.
It's okay, man. We can see you. We'll find you.
We'll find you, Hill, and we'll make you happy, famous.
My brother's a huge fan of ají chombo, and he grows it over in the UK hydroponically.
Wow,
that's
incredible.
That's hilarious. Wow.
Yeah, man, he loves it. And it was funny because one time when I first moved over there, before I went to go do my master's, I was visiting him, and he was really into this, like growing like ají chombo and chilies and all this stuff, which to me was like, oh, that's a nice little hobby he has. Man, we went to a restaurant to have dinner, to this little like cafe. Oh, Hillary's gone.
I'm trying to get her back.
All right, I'll pause my story until she comes back. Now it's me again. I'm on the screen twice. Double the Joe.
That's the active speaker.
Double the Joe.
Double the Joe, double the pleasure.
And it's free $99.
That's the best way to get Joe.
Hi.
Free $99. Oh,
Hillary's back.
Hillary's back.
I'm back.
So
my
then,
computer's giving me problems.
So, we went to this restaurant. It was me, it was my brother, his wife, and I. Right? We're at the restaurant. It was like a deli. You know, like a small place. And he knew some of the guys that were working there at the counter. So then we're sitting down, you know, we order our food, we're eating, And then I see one of the waiters comes up to him, and my brother's there with his wife, regular stuff. And the guy shows him like, takes his phone, and he's like, "Oh, you're Ahichombo?" Because that's my brother's handle, Ahichombo. He's like, "Hey, so you're Ahichombo, right?" And my brother's like, "Yes, yes." And he's like, "Look at my kids." And my brother takes his phone, and he's like, "Huh,
Wait.
that's pretty impressive."
Your brother was forced to look at someone's kids because his handle was Ahichombo?
Look at my children. Look at my children or something. I don't know. So yeah, it was super weird. So my brother gets the phone, and he's looking at it. He's like, that's very impressive. Good job.
All right.
What?
And he gives the guy the phone back. And I'm like, why did you tell him that his kids were impressive, or his children, or whatever? He used a word that was very peculiar. And then he was like, oh no, he was showing me his chili seeds. And people call them their children or whatever.
Oh.
And because he knows that I'm big in the underground chili market or whatever, he was like, oh, you're like the godfather of chilies in the UK. My kids. I was like, that's super weird. But now you know.
It must be like a big deal though, because like, I changed, I went back to my laptop, I'm sorry guys. Like doing like ajichombo in Inglaterra, o sea, like that's definitely not the climate for that, you know what I'm saying? Like, geez.
Does it hydroponically, man. He has like these containers and stuff, and they grow and they're beautiful, and he'll send us pictures, and we're just like, wow, that's amazing.
Like you must, but so does he make his own ají? He makes his own picante with that?
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
That's insane.
Pretty crazy.
Dude.
I'm
And that's
adjusting.
the reason why
Hold on. Keep
That's
talking.
the reason
Continue.
why I started buying that hot chombo sauce, was because when it first came out, the figure on the container reminded me of my brother.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I'm gonna buy this sauce because this guy looks like my brother, and it's actually pretty good, and it's cheaper than Delidas. Take that, $2 cheaper than Delidas. You're too expensive, Delidas. Lower your prices.
I think Delidas.
Wow.
For those of you looking for a cheaper version that's tasty, I get Congo sauce, but Congo Secreto Casero. Like everyone knows the red Congo, but you look for the Secreto Casero one. Delicious.
I'll get that next time I'm at the supermarket.
Yeah,
But that's
give
a
it a
message
try.
for Delidas. Lower your prices,
Yeah.
man.
Y'all gone cray.
Seriously.
It got up to their head, went up to their head. They're like, oh yeah, we're the picante sauce for everybody.
Everybody knows us.
That's why. But in the States, everybody's crazy about sriracha. Everybody's all about the sriracha.
I don't even like that.
Sriracha that. Sriracha.
Are you guys like
Hey, it's a
super
dog.
srirachis?
No, Andrew likes picante, but I don't like any hot sauce.
I'll
so
put it on
like,
my pizza every now and then, but
I'm a person who doesn't like picante, so it's unfortunate, but
Hey,
What
once
up?
I paid. So my brother, again, sorry, he just loves hot sauce, so I can talk about my brother and hot sauce. For Christmas, about 3 years ago, I was like, hey man, what do you want for Christmas? And he said, there's this hot sauce that came out, which was called like scorpion sauce or some crap like that. I don't know. So he really wanted it. And I always try to order stuff online to send to him and to my nephews back in the UK, right? So then I was like, okay, I'll get you that sauce if that's what you really want. So I went online and I got and it's one of these sauces that we find here in Panama, the brand, but scorpion sauce, I've never seen it here. Apparently it's like super hot, super amazing, whatever. So the bottle of hot sauce cost me $5. Shipping to the UK was $45.
What? My goodness.
So I paid $50 for his stupid bottle of hot sauce.
You're probably like, I hope it was worth it.
I hope you drank it.
I hope your tongue burns off.
I was so upset, but he really wanted it, and I was like, I want to make my brother happy because he really wants this. So, man.
Yo, but the hottest ají chombo is one that's called a ghost ají chombo. Ají, it's like a ghost ají. It's apparently the hottest one in the entire friggin' world. So, I don't know.
Yeah,
I've never had it.
I've had it.
He's grown that one.
Very dangerously. I'm having a hard time getting your signal into our.
Sorry.
Joe, Hilary, can you hang up and then call back? And Joe, you call her back. And just pull you right back in.
I'll call you back, Hilary.
Yeah.
I think we have Chechi said something. He said it's called keki.
Keki.
We were talking about keki.
Pull her back in.
Chechi likes keki.
Chechi.
Chechi likes keki.
Chechi likes Chechi likes keki. All right, did you call her?
I'm calling her right now.
Beautiful. I kept getting like a blank screen. There we go. Hilary's back. There, I got you. Look at that.
Right.
Back. She's looking like the Wizard of Oz or Zordon or something.
Thanks. Oops.
Yes.
Wait.
Oh no, she's gone.
I got it. Here we go.
I'm gonna eat my sandwich.
It's a beautiful sandwich.
Man,
there we go. All right.
So I have another chili story. They just keep coming, man. So we're at my brother's recital dinner for his wedding in the UK, okay? We're at his wedding. So I'm there, my brother's there, his wife's family is there, my family, my mom and dad are there, my sister are there. And he had a friend there as well with her husband. They'd known each other for a while. We're all having a good time. So my brother reaches into his pocket, and what does he pull out? He pulls out some chili thing that apparently he forgot was in his jacket pocket, but it was called like chocolate, some chocolate chili or whatever. I don't really remember the name. Apparently it was very hot. So he was like, "Oh, this is supposed to be quite hot," and I was like, "That's not hot. I'll eat it." And then my brother-in-law, Kirsty's brother Joe, we were sitting together. He was like, "Yeah, let's eat it," and I was like, "Yeah, we're gonna eat that." And then my brother's like, "Okay, fine. If you guys want, we can cut it in 4." And then he gave another piece to another friend of his. So the mofo gives me and Joe the piece that had the seeds in it. Oh, no. And we were like, we're going to eat that. Psh, no big deal. And this was like a proper nice restaurant, right? So we put the chili in our mouths and we just start chewing like, rum, 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 rum. This isn't hot. This isn't hot. When the heat hit me, man, I was dying.
Did you want to cry?
I was crying, and we were both yelling for milk and yogurt. We were like, milk, yogurt, and the waiters were looking at us like we were fools. And my brother ate his; he didn't have any problems, and his friend ate his; he didn't have any problems. But the two of us looked like fools. The restaurant finally brought us milk though, and we survived.
Yeah.
But don't eat the seeds.
I have some picante horror stories of the reason why I don't eat picante, but I'm not gonna tell that because it's disgusting. It's like. It was hilarious, but like I'm apparently really tender with the picante and stuff like that, so I tend to stay away because having violent diarrhea isn't my cup of tea. So
no, it's not nice.
Yeah,
it's not nice.
Yeah,
nice at all.
No. I have a funny story about that in freaking Santa Catalina when Santa Catalina didn't have a single thing. It was just like a little ranchito that we were staying at, So, yeah, that story will be for another time when we want to get gross.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it's a nice story, man.
No, it's not. It's not. I still have, like, flashbacks from it, like a horror.
You wake up at night like, oh, my God, no.
Yo, I'm back.
What? Off a balcony?
HP.
Dude, I totally froze. I was frozen in time. I was like...
Dude, my computer even shut down. They were like, fuck it. See you later.
You can't stop us. You can't stop the rapscallions press hill.
Yeah. I'm like, what? I'll go on my phone, girl. I'll go on my phone. What? You had a problem? I'm not worried about it.
So what did I miss?
Not worried about it.
Chechi still tuned in?
Violent diarrhea.
I don't know. Chechi, give us signs of life. We can always count on Chechi, man. Chechi loves keki, by the way.
Chechi loves keki?
Who's Chechi?
Chechi is my brother-in-law on my wife's side.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Oh, yes. He's married to Nikki, man. You know Nikki.
Oh, I know Nikki. Yeah, of course I know Nikki.
Nikki's main squeeze.
Oh, well, her only squeeze. They're married, right? I mean, I'm hoping they don't have like a polyamorous, relationship or something.
Oh, yeah. The only and main.
Dude, do you know that I've known Kelly for a long time? Kelly was friends with one of my friends, and that's how we met in La Boca. She was good friends with my friend Laura, and that is how we met a very, very ages ago. Yeah, Laura in Australia. Shout out to Laura in Melbourne.
Shout out to Melbourne. Who's Melbourne?
Melbourne. That's how you say Melbourne in Australia. You don't say Melbourne. You say Melbourne. Where are you from? Melbourne.
Melbourne.
Like
hey, Melbourne.
Melbourne. But yeah, man. So, that's the story with Hilary.
Hey, Joe, can I have a sip of your drink, please?
Sure, man.
Oh, There you go. Just about. Just about. A little. There you go. Right there. Right there. Oh, perfect. Perfect.
Oh, that's a delicious.
Enjoy that.
You know, I've been drinking the Guinness beer because of that delicious taste of rum. I think I'm gonna have to go to rum. Excuse me.
Dude, so Irish car bombs. The first time I ever had an Irish car bomb, I was in Miami. I used to be a flight attendant, okay?
What?
And
Oh, it's like my uncle. Oh, snap.
Yes, I worked with your uncle. He was wonderful. He and I got along fabulously. He was a wonderful human being. He was a very original and very real. Like, you know, he was who he was, like, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
And so the flight to Miami was a very short flight. Like, you literally slept, like, you know, like, you were there, like, overnight, and it was a very short night. Like, you didn't sleep a full hours. And I had a friend in Miami. And so he's like, you know, let's just go out, you know, for a couple of hours, and then I'll take you back to your hotel room. Like, we went out, and we had Irish car bombs, and I literally got back to my hotel room probably about 2 hours before the flight was to be, you know, heading out.
What?
So, yes, I slept an hour, put on my makeup, got ready to go, and went back to the Panama City, like, very, very in terrible conditions. Like, I don't even know how I made it, but it was very, very, very hilarious. Because it's a short flight. You know, like the flight from Miami to Paris is not long at all.
No, it's like 3 hours or something.
Yes, but it was the 3 longest hours of my life because I'm pretty sure I was still drunk and I hadn't slept anything. So definitely.
Were you doing the, like, this is where the emergency?
Yes.
Oh, you were a flight person.
I was
attendant.
Yeah, I was a flight attendant for a year and a half of my life. I was a flight attendant.
So what's the best place you went to?
I wonder if I was ever.
I have so many questions.
The best place I went to, I mean, I went to all those places that Copa goes to. Like, I would get sent to Argentina like at least 2 or 3 times a month. So it got to the point where, like, I knew everybody who would tend to the airplane. I knew, like, the people at the airport, like, they would recognize me. Oh, like, ¿cómo estás? Because I was there all the time.
Never been
because
to Argentina.
Usually, like, I love Argentina, man. People from Argentina are, what I like about them is that they have a really great sense of humor, and they love to party. They're very social. They're very funny people. They're very witty, you know, like, and they love to harass you immediately. So, like, when you have a flight to Argentina, like, you knew you were gonna have a really funny repartee with the people who were going there, you know, because they're just very, very fun people. You know what I'm saying? They're very fun people. And I love Argentina. Argentina's just a great country, dude. It's a great country. They eat yummy.
How long would you stay there? If you did a flight there, because what's a flight to Argentina? It's like 7 hours, right?
Yeah, 7 hours. So there was a flash trip there which was like the one that you would go. You would leave Panama in the morning and you would get there in the evening. So you would spend one night there and the next day you were gone. And then there was the other flight that was you would leave from here very late at night and you would get there in the morning. So you would have a day and a half to actually enjoy yourself a bit more because it was, you know, a little bit more time.
That gives you some opportunity to see the city.
Yeah, but you're freaking exhausted because, you know, you're leaving at nighttime in Panama. And so you have that. Es un vuelo bien foco because then you're leaving Argentina as well en la madrugada, super early or super late in the nighttime to get to Panama at 9 o'clock in the morning. So, like, that was difficult because, you know,
and as a flight attendant in that 7-hour flight, because I know in, like, longer flights, to say Europe or something, flight attendants take turns and they have, like, special quarters where they can sleep or whatever.
Yeah.
But in those 7-hour flights,
you ain't supposed to sleep, but the girls would do it anyways. You know what I'm saying? You're not supposed to sleep. You're not supposed to sleep on these flights. But it's bullshit because, like, I mean, it's really late at night. Es de que la madrugada es un madrugonazo. Cuando dicen de que when people from people who fly or people who are pilots or flight attendants, cuando dicen de que es un madrugonazo es porque, puta, es una vaina que you're working at really weird hours of the night. So, you know, depending on the flight attendant, they would do things that were supposed to be illegal because according to the booklet, you're not supposed to do. But you're not supposed to sleep, but the flight attendants would always sleep. Like, if the last row was available, they would sit down and take a little shut-eye after, you know, they'd serve the food or whatever.
Yeah.
Or you literally sit in the jump seat, you know. You sit in the jump seat, you grab a ball of your sweater, you know, and make a little ball and just, you know, take a little, you know, a little shut-eye.
I got a personal question for you. Did you gave the speech? how much faster than the other flight attendants?
Oh my God, they felt so bad. Like in English, when I was like doing the hi, yes, very fast in English and in Spanish. But it was a fun experience. I was pretty young and I had a really good time and I learned a lot. And I think if you're young and don't have family, if you don't have kids and stuff, or you don't really have a relationship, it's a lot of fun. You can have a lot of fun. You can enjoy yourself and travel and visit and stuff like that. And it wasn't terrible, especially if you're like a people person. If you're not a people person, don't be a flight attendant. Like seriously, the bell never stops ringing. You know what I'm saying? It never stops ringing. You got to show up and be like, hola.
Did you ever lose your shit with someone? Did you ever get like, I can't handle this guy anymore? Did you just lose it with someone or?
Yeah, I mean, not losing it, but having to be like for example, there was this one guy. Well, he was like a Brazilian rabbi, and I think he was looking for his like seventh wife or something because the guy was hitting on me the entire time. Like I was in the back in the galley, and the guy would like constantly go to the back, and this guy's like literally a kosher rabbi. Maybe he's not a rabbi, but like he's one of these guys who supervises kosher facilities. So like the hat, the curls, the beard, like the not using deodorant, all of this. And it was getting a little bit intense and awkward because I'm like really nice and I'm not the kind of person who's like, you need to stop this. But he started like, touching my arm and stuff like that. And then I was just like, okay. And so like I had to chifiar him. And so once we landed, like I literally hid inside of the business class bathroom until the guy was able to leave because I was like, I told like my jefa de cabina de que like this guy is not letting me go. Can I just like hide in there? She's like, go, just hide. But yeah, I saw some weird stuff. Like I saw one guy masturbating under a blanket, and like I told my other jefa cabina in that moment, I was like, this guy's masturbating. And then when she went, he'd already finished, so he wasn't masturbating anymore. But like, I know what I saw.
Did he use the puke bag or what? I'm like,
No, he had a blanket and he lifted it up to here, and like he asked me like to get him a soda, and so like, okay, fine. So I went to the galley, I got him the soda. And then when I came back, he was like, you could see, like, you got the blanket up to here and like under, like at his lap level, like doing this, you know what I'm saying? And like his eyes were closed. And like, I didn't know what to react. So I just turned around and went back to the galley. And then I told my jefa cabina. And then she went over there and she didn't see anything. She's like, oh no, he must have had his iPad on or his iPod, right. And he was
shining his shoes under. He was shining his shoes under the blanket.
You know what I'm saying? Like you don't change your iPod song with like that. I'm saying?
Not often am I at a loss for words, but that it's appalling. And you know what? It's both Joe and I are like, what? But this happens to women. We were talking earlier.
All the time.
This happens to women on buses. This happens to women on metro.
Yeah.
This happens to women in public. Yeah. And Joe and I, who could never fathom such a thing, are oblivious to it. And I apologize to you, Hilary, because I was about to make light of it. I was going to make light of it, but I was like, you know what? We need to educate people that women like you can be standing on the metro and turn around, there's a guy jacking off on you, which is fucked up, dude. That's totally fucked up.
So fucked up. And in apartments, like you're in your apartment and you look out the window and there's a guy fucking looking at you masturbating, and I'm saying like that's fucked up.
It happened to my sister in the States. There was a guy standing on her AC unit fucking whacking it.
What?
Yeah, like, dude, I
no.
The world is mad, dude. I can't.
Well, it's interesting because like Costa Rica just passed a law where el acoso callejero is illegal, and like here in Panama they tried passing that law a couple of years ago. Ana Matilde tried passing that law and it didn't pass, and people in Panama were making fun of it, like ha ha ha, men especially. And I don't think that men realize all the acoso callejero that women get. It doesn't matter if you're freaking ugly or pretty or whatever. If you're a woman on the street, they're gonna fucking catcall you, and some of them can be really cute catcalls, and some of them are fucking sick and disgusting. Like I've had people, like if you're walking down any place, like I've had people whisper weird things in my ear, like at literally like this distance, and they'll walk by, they're like, oh, you know what I'm saying? And just like I don't deserve this. Like I didn't ask you to get into my area, like literally into my ear to whisper things and And it's funny because like my husband didn't really. I don't think men understand the scope of what women go through when they're on the street, and he didn't really understand that.
It is.
And I had to explain it to him and be like, I can be wearing the most loose-fitting, nasty-ass clothes, like, you know, and somebody will say something. Like, literally the other day, I was walking in Balboa waiting for the Uber, and I'm literally wearing, like, a pair of jeans and a huge blouse that did not do anything for me, and a fucking tapabocas, you know? And aún así, a freaking, you know, un man del Senan de que, oye, mami, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, dude, you are part of the Senan. You're wearing your uniform. You know what I'm saying? Man. Like, you don't see us. This is wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not doing anything. I'm just walking. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's really constant. It's constant. So like when I told my husband about that, I told Andrew, I'm like, yeah, it should be illegal. And he's like, but then even a little piropo, like, what's going to be the difference? I'm like, you don't have to comment on anybody's appearance. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have nothing to do.
I don't want to play the devil's advocate, but
care,
I want to share with all the thousands of people who are listening right now. Like, I can empathize with your husband that like, I would never in 10 billion lifetimes would I consider masturbating on someone on the metro. You know what I mean? And to be rude to someone on the street, even less so. But guys, to the guys out there who are respectful, who are gentlemen, it happens on a daily basis. And it's hard for us to fathom it. It's hard for us to even imagine that someone would even consider that to be acceptable. And it literally puts us in blinders because
you want to see something really interesting, go on YouTube, and there was this test of these different women in New York City, and so they had a camera in the back of their back,
the guys were
backpack,
following after like 10 blocks.
On their front,
up, man.
And that was exactly. And then that's a nice little way of saying, like, you know, this is what women go through. Imagine, this is New York City. In Panama, it happens too. Like, I've been chased, I've been catcalled, I've been told nasty things. One time I was crossing Calle 50 when I was coming out of Patatus, when it wasn't Patatus back then, it was who knows what it was, and one of its many variations. And a fucking guy was hanging out of the side of his door, and he slapped my ass as I was crossing the street. I had a boyfriend who was with me in that moment. You know what I'm saying? Like, there is literally acoso callejero. It does exist. It doesn't just go against the women who are dressed in a sexy manner. It's against all women. You know what I'm saying? It's against all women. It doesn't matter if they're fat, if they're ugly, if they're pretty, if they're skanky. It affects them all. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could be wearing a fucking burqa.
Joe gets
walking down the street,
acoso callejero because he's so manly that the men don't even know what to do.
My hips don't lie.
His manliness turns the acoseros into homosexuals.
The ladies, I imagine.
But real talk. Like, I was walking down the street and there was this lady walking in front of me, like, and this was during lunchtime. So I got on lunch and I was going back to the office, and this guy was coming towards her, and he leaned into her, gave her a kiss, like, didn't give her a kiss, but like kissed in front of her face, like, wah, and then took his head away and kept walking, and I was like.
That's the thing is, like, you know, like,
what?
You know, of course, Karina and I have intensive conversations about it, and so I have been trying to open my eyes to it because to me it's unfathomable. You wouldn't do that, but I try to keep my eyes on. And the worst offenders are the police and the SPI. And I was going to rehearsal, and I was getting on the metro, and I probably scared the girl more, but there was like 5 uniformed off-duty cops that really started acosando. So what I did is I got between her and the cops because I felt like if I'd have said something, they would have beat me up. But I tried to shield her as we were going down the escalator. And anyway, it was a messed up situation, and these were the people who were supposed to be out there protecting us.
They're supposed to be taking care of us.
You know? And it was like a bully ring of rude things, and
nasty.
I didn't know what to do. I thought that if I spoke up, I would been beaten, you know?
Yeah. And I've gotten catcalled, you know, with my dad, with my mom. Like, there's no respect. Like, I've been getting catcalled and harassed since I was even, like, before I was even a teenager. You know what I'm saying? Because there are sick motherfuckers out there. You know what I'm saying? And, like, and I remember also, like, walking with my friend Laura, and Laura is, like, you know, like this tiny little petite blonde green-eyed person, you know, and I'm, like, much bigger than she is. And I always felt very protective of her because at least I feel like if anything goes down, like, I can actually probably defend myself. Like, I'm going to go down fighting. But, like, what do you do about these people who are so tiny and little? And, like, you know, like, I felt so protective of her. Every time we'd walk around, like, men were, like, just, like, screaming things at her, you know? And so, like, I have a way of defending myself. Like, when I'm walking down the street and I feel like somebody's being really nasty, like, I can't call back at them, you know? I'm like, ay, bien feo que tú eres, ay, no, qué asco. Or like they tell me something, te quiero dar, que me quieres dar, ¿qué? Eres un horrible, you know what I'm saying? Or I like make a really nasty face and I'll be like, you know, like, and I feel like that, like, I get a little bit more power back from them, you know, and sometimes they laugh and they find it hilarious. And I'm like, well, at least you find it funny. But, like, you know, like, I felt moments where it's, like, really unsafe, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not always going to work that way, you know what I'm saying? Like, maybe sometimes it's better to ignore them.
It is for,
you know?
For men, it's unfathomable. It's hard for us to relate to. And I know when I walk with Karina down Central, they don't do it. They don't do it to her at all.
Yeah.
And so I was like, what do you mean? I'm here. I don't see them doing that. And
yeah. Check out that YouTube video of the girl walking in New York City. Like, they did it with a couple of different girls, and then they made their fathers watch, and, like, the fathers were just, like, gobsmacked. Like, the dads are, like, literally next to their daughters watching the videos of the men following them, of saying horrible things, asking them for their numbers, and, like, the dads were, like, really, you could see them, like, getting more and more pissed off. Like, they had no idea, you know what I'm saying? Like, they don't know. And, you know, like, and, like, I've had to cross the street because there's a group of men, you know, I feel uncomfortable and I don't want to walk through them. Or I've had to, like, change my direction because I'm like, I don't really know if that's very safe or if it's dark and, like, there's a dark alleyway. Do you have any theories of, you know,
what's the beginning of that? Or because, you know, like, there's a saying, like, every man has a mother, you know, like, how does that type of gross behavior begin? Like, and how can we...
Well, because their dad does it. Their dad does it, and they see their dad doing it, and it's years of, you know, hollering at women, you know.
Into it, and they think it's okay, and they think, I'm a man, that's how I'm supposed to behave.
Yeah, I'm supposed to see a beautiful woman, or even not a beautiful woman, and just holler at her, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, what do you think? I'm going to get off my car right now and suck your dick? I mean, what is the point of this? Like, there is no point of it. It's just to make you feel uncomfortable. Like, and then some men are like, oh, but what, you can't tell a beautiful woman? I'm like, no. There's a very big difference between acoso sexual de la calle, acoso callejero, y hablar con una mujer and, like, you know, try to, like, get her number and stuff like that. Like, it's two different things. You know what I'm saying?
Like,
you know, it's two different things.
Like, I think...
Because the men are like, oh, no, but now if there's a law that I can't, you know, I'm like, man, la ley es en contra del acoso callejero. Hay una gran diferencia entre acoso callejero and talking to a girl and trying to, like, you know...
Claro, like, if a guy comes up to you and says, hi, my name is Roberto, what's your name? I think you're beautiful. That's different to, oye, mami, está rica. You know, I mean...
Oye, mami, déjame chuparte la pe...
it's two different things. Two totally different things.
Yeah. And that's what men here in Panama are saying, like, oh, no, but if it's in law, then I'm going to go to jail just because I tell a girl she's pretty. I'm like, dude, are you telling it to her while she's walking and you're in a car going at 50 miles per hour? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
that's
no,
what I'm trying to get at. Is like,
Obviously.
what's the intention of the acoso callejero? Like,
I mean, but think about it. Think about it. If I'm in a car, say I'm one of these guys, and I'm in a car, I'm driving down the street, and I see Hilary. Let's say I see Hilary, and I'm like, I lower my window, and I'm like, and I yell a bunch of crap at her, and I keep driving. I guess I'm thinking she's gonna love what I said and chase after me.
I don't get it.
So she catches up to my car and says, "Hey, you said all those wonderful things. I want to get with you."
That's like when I see a friend walking down the street. Like, if I saw Hilary in Costco, I'd be like, Mami, si tú cocinas como tú caminas, te como tal con colón. And then she'll turn around and see that it's me and realize that I was joking. But now I realize It's totally fucked up, man.
Yeah, and the worst ones are always like the ones that are really disgusting, but the ones that are like when you're just walking by and they'll whisper something nasty like literally into your ear, like that's super personal, dude. Like whispering nasty, and I can feel your breath on my ear, and like it's literally half a second. Just like that guy who went up to that girl and gave her like a kiss in her face, and he just kept walking. Yeah. Esa también es la típica. They just walk by.
Because that's your personal space. You know?
Super awkward, super weird, super nasty. You know, it's super nasty. Like I try to stop it. Like whenever I get something like that, like I'll try to respond back to it, and it's always a very instinctual response. And so usually an ugly face, or I'll say something nasty, or because they always see me and they're like, gringa, ya no habla español. But like I do speak Spanish, and I have a lot of curse words to tell you, buddy. Like I had to work in Casco Viejo for 3 years. Believe me, like I know how to deal with bien cuidados, and I know how to deal with acoso callejero. Like I became friends with the guys who were like the bien cuidados of Calle Novena. And like I knew all those guys, but they didn't catcall me because they were already used to me and they knew who I was. Pero like yo los parqueaba because they're smart people, and I'm like, hey, ¿qué chucha te pasa, man? ¿Qué asco? You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, de verdad, en serio, ¿qué quieres que te mame la pinga? O sea, ¿qué chucha te pasa? O sea,
where are you going with this? What the hell's wrong with you?
Tú ves a tu mamá con esa boca, ¿qué te pasa?
Hey, there was one time back when we were allowed out. Again, this is near my office. And this is like Calle 50. I saw a lot of stuff.
Do you think the people who do the acoso callejera right now are stuck in their house like
oh my god, looking out the window, just like
they're yelling at a calendar and shit? Sorry, Joe. Go ahead.
Hey, I was in my car and I see, because I was stuck in traffic. Obviously, 5 p.m. There's traffic everywhere, and I see this girl walking down the street, and then all of a sudden she stops, turns around, and starts screaming, and I'm like, what's going on? So I look back, and there's a construction worker who I'm assuming had said something to her, and she was like, you can go fuck yourself. And then he starts screaming back at her. So then she's upset, so she's walking towards him to scream some more, and he's just like screaming, and I'm thinking like what's gonna happen here? Like something's gonna happen. Eventually he was like, she screamed so much that he was just like, whatever, I'm leaving. But I was like, man, that can be like really dangerous, man. Like
you don't know.
What if he's like a psychopath? No, you don't know, man.
Yeah. And there's women who have people who stalk them, who've told them like, I know what you wore this day, and I know what you wore that day, and I've been looking at you all these past days or all these past months. Like that's freaky. That's really freaky, So yeah, I mean, women go through a lot of that shit. I'm sure like men do too, but I don't think to the extent that women do. And we just need to try to make a safer country for us. Like a safer country and a safer place, so that we don't have to feel so uncomfortable. Like I'm pretty sure as women we think twice what we're gonna put on if we're gonna go walking on the street. Like I know, like puta, see, if I have to park my car and I gotta walk around, like I'm not gonna be wearing shorts. I'm not gonna wear a shirt that's like too revealing. I'm gonna be wearing pants or jeans. I'm gonna be wearing a shirt that's like a bit more cover or something. You know what I'm saying? Because you're just trying to avoid getting catcalled, even though it's impossible, because people are gonna catcall you even if you're wearing a fucking burqa. You know what I'm saying? And then that's the thing. Like, it doesn't matter, because a lot of people are like, oh, pero ella murió, ella la violaron porque ella se lo estaba buscando, o ella la violaron porque ella estaba usando un shortcito, o ella la violaron porque tenía una camisa que le enseñaba mucho el escote. But dude, ain't nobody asking to be raped. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody's asking to be raped, and nobody's asking to get that kind of attention. Like, maybe they want proper attention. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe they're actually wanting somebody to to flirt with them or something like that. And even then, like most of the time, most of the women that I know, they get dressed for themselves. Like when we're feeling ourselves, like we want to like look good, we want to dress good, but it's never like to look good for a man. Like I think sometimes, like when you're going to a club and stuff like that, but even then, sometimes it's like, damn, like I look good today. And like when you're going out with your girlfriends, like all the girls are all dressed up and stuff, but we're not dressing up for the men. Like usually it's like, yeah, look what you wear. I love your high heels. I love the dress. I love it. Look at your makeup. It's so snatched. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I tell HB all the time when we go out together. I tell him,
yeah. I try to borrow Joe's high heels, but they're a little too big for me.
Oh God.
So I wear my own. Damn it. We try to look good,
Yeah.
Oh, good.
No, but we get what you mean, man. We get what you mean.
If there's anything about the rapscallions, we love the women. We love and respect women.
And you guys are gentlemen. Like you guys are gentlemen. Like I've hung out with you guys, both of you, on my own, and I've never felt I've never felt insecure. I've never felt, I've never felt anything like that. And there's a very big difference between, men who have modales and who are mannered and who are gentlemen. And that's so important. So, like it's so important for men to be like that, so that women don't have to feel insecure with who they are with. You know what I'm saying? And so they feel like this person has my back. This person isn't going to try to do something to me. And so I really appreciate that about you guys, and which is why I also wrote that you guys are gentlemanly. You guys are wonderful human beings, but you're also gentlemen. You are good husbands. You are good men, and I hope that other men will see that and will emulate that. And be like, hey, you can still be masculine, strong, funny, secure of yourself, and not have to make women feel insecure, and not have to talk down to women. Like I always feel like with you guys are always striving to be better men, and I appreciate that. Like just having this conversation is already huge, and whoever listens to it will listen to it. But it is possible to be a super masculine, in touch with yourself man, and respect women and still feel that they are your equals, even though we're all very, very different. Men and women are very different.
We need to celebrate the diversity, not only between each other and between the sexes. And trying, and I really appreciate you saying that, because it's hard for me to fathom why a man would do that to a woman. Like it doesn't calculate for me. So I really appreciate you saying that, and to anyone out there, like the only way that I can explain it to you, like if you look down on women, let me explain it to you in the nerdiest way possible. You've bought a computer, and the computer comes with 8 processors in it. You would be upset if 4 of the processors were not working. You want all the processors to work. This is a horrible, horrible explanation. All I'm trying to say is that we've got all these brains out there. We've got all these people out there that are super creative and super smart. And if you think that that person next to you is less smart because they have boobs or they have a vagina, then you are just not getting it. You're not getting it. The world is a better place if 100% of the people are active in making it a better place.
That's right.
Thinking that half of the population should not be doing something is super. I mean, I don't even have a word for how dumb that is. Like, more than 50% of the population is women. More than 50%.
Yes.
But it's hilarious because it's also a change of time. Like I was talking to my grandma a couple of years ago, and my grandma she's now 100 and she's still there, and we were talking about how she times are different, right? And she was just like, a woman president, like that can't happen. Women can't be presidents. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, Grandma, women can be presidents.
Come on, Jams.
Women can be engineers, and women can be doctors too, and women can be, space astronauts, and women can do all kinds of stuff. There might be maybe a few things that women can't do, and I think one of those jobs is probably the kind of the ones that are for the oil rigs, they have to actually be doing this intense, really, really hard job, and the thing is drilling, that's really difficult even for a man.
I think the only job that a woman can't do is to be an asshole construction worker throwing awful piropos at women.
Yeah.
Seriously, man. And you know who loves and respects women? Chechi. And Chechi says, I'm right here. Keki is the raspadura, harina, and coco cake. I love that.
Thank you. I felt I was a little
right, that's what I love.
I was a little worried because Chechi's always writing in, giving responses and stuff. All right.
Yeah.
Faith is restored.
But he's right though. Keki, I love keki. Keki is freaking delicious, and it's actually not pan bon. It's keki, and it's made out of raspadura, and it's freaking delicious when it's freshly made.
That's
so you got to get that in the institute.
And I think starting right now, Chechi should start his own keki, and he should call it Chechi's keki.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it.
I love it. I think it's perfect.
See,
That is so great.
We just share love on this platform, and we share ideas. This is beautiful. I want Chechi's Keki.
We find people their business, purpose and everything. Like what? What do you need? Like we'll give you your logo name and everything. Chechi's Keki. I love it. I love it. Dude, we've been talking forever. It's 6:15.
I know. You got to go take care of your kids, man. They must be like, where's my mama?
My husband took their kids. He's actually next door neighbors. He's got his friend who lives nearby who also has a 5-year-old daughter. So we enjoy, we've been hanging out and stuff like that because, it might be the pandemic, but at some point, we're going to have to see each other. And so
That's right.
Distanciamiento social and all that stuff. But, I've been giving people hugs that I've been seeing here and there. And I'm just like, I don't know. It comes to a point. I don't know. I actually think that I might have actually had coronavirus a couple of months ago. I got really, really sick right around the time of the coronavirus, actually mid-May, and I never got the test. But I did call Rosa. They never fucking called me back. Like, I called them to be like, hey, and I spoke to somebody who then elevated my concern to a doctor. The doctor called me. And she's like, okay, so we're going to be calling you to set you up for the meeting to go to Atlapa to get the hisopado. I was never called again. I was never called again. And when they called me again, it was already like a month after. And I'm like, well, yeah, I'm alive. Thanks. Thanks. I'm still here. But it was really messed up. It was really messed up. Like I had the dry cough. I had the headache.
Did you lose your sense of smell? Because you're an active cooker?
I did not. No. I did not. I did not lose my sense of smell, but what I did have was I had shortness of breath. So I did a lot of nebulizations. I have eucalyptus oil, and so I do the saline solution with the eucalyptus oil. And then I had like a lot of fatigue. And I'm a fast talker. Like I talk a lot. I couldn't talk like this in that time. I'd have to like get a breath. You know what I'm saying, but I never had to go to the hospital. I never felt like I had difficulty breathing. Whenever I felt like my chest was getting tight, I would do a nebulization, and after about a week and a half, I started feeling better. And then when I actually went to the doctor and they did my exams, by then there was nothing going on, and I never actually went to go get the prueba serológica. And it's already been a few months, and I don't think it's going to be in my blood anymore because that only lasts about 4 months in your blood. So I'm pretty sure I had it, but I never got tested, and I did call Rosa, and they never fucking called me. So if you're wondering why our country is the way it is, well, there you have it. There's no trazabilidad, no había trazabilidad. O sea, there's nobody was calling you back. You were calling into a system, and the people who would actually answer your phone call, they had no empathy. And then on top of it, if you didn't have a certain degree of fever, they weren't really accepting the cases to go higher up. And my fever never went beyond 38.2 degrees. But I am naturally very low with my blood. Like when you check my blood, I've got very low blood temperature. I'm alive, but barely, I guess.
Are you a zombie? Are you a zombie, Hilary?
I don't know, dude, but like it's always like, ay, usted sí tiene la temperatura bajita, and it's like 36.5, and I don't know, maybe I'm sick.
That's why she puts brains in the flan.
Yeah,
that's what I think.
Extra delicious, man.
Delicious, like oh, nasty, so nasty. It's blended brain flan. Actually, so there's this delicious recipe that's actually from Portugal that is something very similar to flan, and it uses like a shit ton of egg yolks, and it's very similar, but the difference is they use bacon oil. So
Dude, and I
thought about that, and I'm like, bitch, flan with like bacon like flavor, dude, like that would be killer, man. Like we should really try to make that happen.
Man, I love me some bacon, man. I didn't realize how much I love bacon until I have it, and then I'm like, man, I love bacon.
Bacon is so good, man.
I do a lot of rendering. Like I buy the pork fat and I render my own pork fat, and I make popcorn with it. And lard. And making pie crust with lard, everyone knows that's the best. Yeah. And I've done the beef fat. The best is chicken fat. It's light enough. It's almost as light as vegetable oil, and I like frying with it because if you overheat vegetable oil, it breaks down and it creates carcinogens. However, animal lipids don't do that. So you should, if you're gonna fry something, use animal fats. If you're gonna make a salad, use vegetable fats. That's all I gotta say about that.
Interesting.
Makes sense.
I like this. I like these ideas. That's very interesting. Very interesting. But anyways, I'm gonna let you guys go. I am so grateful for this wonderful, wonderful 17-hour interview.
Absolutely.
But you know, it's been a lot of fun, very informative. I did tell you guys that I was gonna talk your ears off. I feel a little sorry for Joe. Joe's looking like, oh shit, the sun's going down, and like Mo's like, please walk me.
Mo's right here. He's like, hey, stop talking to Hilary.
He's like, please, please, like, all right. But I very enjoyed it. I'm so grateful that you guys invited me on the show. We've talked about everything. It's been very empowering for women. Thank you so much. And I'm so glad to be doing this little thing with the gentlemanly rapscallion.
And I want to thank you. I attribute my entire acting career to Hilary Hughes Winstead. And you know, it makes no difference to me, to all those people. We've been talking about female empowerment, male empowerment. To make it a male or female that discovered me, it's a genius that discovered me. It's a person.
Thank you.
It's a mind that discovered me. It's someone who invited me into the theater and let me do. I'm reeling you back in, Hilary, so we can do another 6 hours.
I would love to. But HB, you know what though? You know what I love about it? That again, like, you're easy to direct, and that for a director is somebody who will take the direction and will make it their own, and then will add their own, you know, pizzazz to it, you know. And you do that every single time. Like, I've seen the way you act, and you listen, you analyze it, you regurgitate it back out, you know, and what you do is like something that, you know, that people like. So you are good at what you do, and I'm really happy that I snared you in that moment, because I think your friend was the one that was interested, but I was like, you should come too. And you were like, no, I don't know about that. I'm like, yeah, come too. But that's going to be for another time where I talk about Bear Claw and how it impacted you, because
is a gentleman's actor, man. And because of you, he has become one of the greatest.
Because of you, I never died.
You are the wind beneath his wings, and he has flown.
I gotta go walk a dog. He's like looking at me like, Mom, please. I just need to go to the bathroom. That's all I want to do.
And I'm trying to get someone to turn the lights on here, but nobody's listening to me. So I'm just dying in the darkness.
Besos, mwah, abrazos, big hugs.
Thank you for doing the show, Hill. Much love.
They know that.
We love your plays. We love your involvement. We love your input. We love everything you do, and most of all, we love your flan.
Yes, we love your flan. You're a wonderful person. We love you so much.
All right.
Talk to you guys soon. Bye.
This is the end of the show, people. Thank you for tuning in. Next Sunday, 3 p.m. Bye-bye.
Peace out.
Bye-bye. I lost my button to close everything. There we go.
Hilary left. She's done.